Welcome to the Friday Night Chat, episode 81. I am your host, Redneck Libertarian. We have a full panel tonight, so we're in for some treats. Iron Man Australia, any opening thoughts?
Yes, Alex, I'd like to welcome you back to the show. As many of you know, we didn't have a podcast last week, but what you may not know is the reason for that. On the way to the last show, Alex was brutally raped by a pack of rabid, AIDS-infected niggers behind a dumpster in a dark alley. So I'd like to be the first to say how stunning and brave he is to get back on the horse despite his undoubtedly sore ass.
And throat. The test
stood up in the podcast.
the test results came back negative, so I don't have the AIDS. So
I created a Patreon for your anal sphincter reconstructive surgery too. You can donate to that.
Yeah, it's not fun. Jaffa, opening thoughts, man.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to talk about it a lot, but I'm getting really spooked out about all the censorship stuff that's going on. So I think everyone needs to be vigilant about that, and we need to sort out the internet before it's too late.
Certainly. Rick, any opening thoughts?
Yeah, thanks for having us on, Alex. I am Sir Rick, host of the Brick Nights of the Round. Try and catch that on the YouTubes on the many fabulous networks we're on. Yeah, we're here tonight to bring some high energy and some British news that escaped our stack. So, take it away, Alex.
I love the politeness there. Thank you for having me on a show that KK is also able to get on. All right, Zach, any opening thoughts?
Yeah, I just wanted to, last week, because we missed a show, I missed my chance to talk about Scaramucci, the shortest White House press secretary career ever. He broke records and he broke hearts. He talked about how Steve Bannon was in there to try and suck his own dick and how Priebus is a little bitch. Because of that, Priebus actually ended up getting fired shortly after that. One of the things that I liked about Priebus getting fired, it's a good thing that he got out of there. He was kind of a scumbag, and I remember from 2012 when they held a vote for Ron Paul to get on the ballot, and even though the yays had it, Priebus went ahead and pushed through a new rule in the RNC's rule book, and he's kind of a Weasley fuck, so still not tired of winning.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are. It's definitely been interesting to see how basically the Stalinist, almost like purges that the president has undergone, hiring people and then firing them back again. I think it's kind of the, it makes sense from a strategic point of view, right? So you're going to have some establishment people there to get stuff done, but you don't necessarily want them hanging around. So I think you'll see more of that. He's going to be purging people who can't be trusted for the long haul.
He's draining the swamp.
Yeah, but you don't just go in there with all new people, right? Some people have expertise. They provide you enough value, so you keep them around until they're no longer needed.
I think it's good. At least it shows he's being proactive and keeping an eye on things. He's not just letting people remain for the sake of it.
Yeah, that's definitely. He's definitely shown, at least to me, again and again, where I will disagree with him about something, and then he'll bring me on board. I'll think of what's he doing here, and I'll figure it out eventually and agree with it. Same with the strikes in Syria. At first I'm like, holy shit, I don't want war against Assad, right? But then you realize, it was just a few missiles and then he's done, right? And now everybody's satiated for their bloodlust that was instilled upon them.
And why is it the people that he seems to fire, even though we love them at the time? Why are the people he's replacing them with? Why are they so awesome? Like I said, that Scaramucci chap who only had a very short shelf life. You were really cool, man. Thought you were awesome. Like when he says, in Washington, there's a lot of backstabbers, but we're front stabbers. You know what I mean? At least he were honest. An honest Spurgle.
Yeah, I liked the old fella they had where where he was up there like the president will not be questioned on this and that, and like the president's not a liar, and like just letting them have it. I really loved that. I really like the idea of a really like out there attacking the mainstream media press secretary.
Yeah, I don't think you could have got a more Trump guy in the office, could you?
Yeah. Have you guys seen? So he just confirmed Gorsuch. It's a difficult name for me to pronounce. Yeah, they confirmed him. They confirmed him to the Supreme Court this week. So the thing about Gorsuch is he's a member of the Federalist Society, and so he supports sort of the originalist view of the Constitution, which I take as the correct view of the Constitution. And so a lot of people have been speculating that, in the past he's, spoke out against affirmative action on the grounds of the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause. Now, people are saying, okay, well, as soon as somebody takes an affirmative action case to the Supreme Court, that he's going to rule against it, and we might see the end of affirmative action. Now, I was doing a little digging. The problem with it is that he isn't necessarily a tiebreaker, and it's very unlikely that Judge Ginsburg will stop supporting anti-white discrimination. So even though there's a lot of hope, people are happy it's the right direction, I don't necessarily think it's as easy as because he's on there affirmative action it's going to cease to exist. And even Trumpenfuhrer himself has criticized people for being against affirmative action in the past. Any opening thoughts? Like any thoughts?
So we're saying then that they're going to start like doing segregation then soon and stuff. Fingers crossed.
No, it's the opposite, right? So the grounds that he opposes the 14th Amendment on is the Equal Protection Act, which basically says you got to treat everybody the same under the law, and you can't make laws that only apply to certain people, right? So the affirmative action laws violate that because it's basically discrimination against people based on color, right? That's what he would say. That's the argument against it here in the States, basically. It's just unlikely that the Supreme Court will actually rule against it.
The affirmative action was only supposed to be a temporary thing in the first place, as far as I understand. Like, we'll give the niggers some fucking throw them a bone and they can fucking give them a chance to get equal with whites, and then we'll fucking get rid of affirmative action. It's like one of these government things that become a hammock, like fucking where it's a permanent thing, and now there's even more racism, we got to do more of it, kind of thing.
Yeah, well, it's like, when they equalize, but that kind of presupposes that they can equalize perfectly.
Or they'll admit it if it ever happened, they'd even fucking admit it, because it's kind of like, women have got equal rights now, but all the feminists still running around fucking saying they don't. So,
yeah, I mean, if you passed a law that said, basically, we're going to have these laws that say that white people will have preference over Asian people, right, until they're equalized.
Fingers crossed.
Well, it's unlikely that it'll ever equalize. So it's just a red herring, right?
Yeah, it's time to get rid of this shit anyway. Either way, like it's done, right? Like,
well, that's the problem. Like, it's not done, and I don't. Like I said, everybody was saying, "Oh, this is the end of it. This is the end of it." But like I said, it's very unlikely that somebody like Ginsburg is gonna stop supporting it. So unless one of the other judges, changes their mind on it, we're basically screwed. And there's not really popular support to get rid of it, as far as
but you need someone at some point to no one in the last fucking 30 fucking years has stood up and said this is a bunch of crap, fucking get rid of it. I mean, libertarians have always said that, I guess, to be fair, but in popular culture, stood up and said, nah, fuck this shit, we're done, right?
Do you think that's happening now?
That's probably the beginning of the end with any luck.
I mean, so do you think that there's a change that you've observed in people's? I mean, the average person that I come in contact with, of course, is against it, but they're not.
Well, it's kind of like Trump is the beginning of the end for all this PC shit, right? Like, fucking, that started to well, he's probably a bit further down the road, but just getting a bit of echo from you, Rick.
The mic went on.
It might have been Jaffa or KK.
I'm hearing it too.
It's not the Kikebergs, is it?
I don't know.
I've turned the board off just in case.
Yeah, maybe it sounded like running water. You
It
can go back
wasn't
to
me.
your point, Iron.
Usually Jaffa's having a piss, so
That's not true.
Taking a piss.
They always say I'm pissing when I'm pouring a glass of water.
he's blatantly pissing.
Well, I mean, it's a step in the right direction, you know. Like, and this is the thing. Like, it's a positive step in the right direction, and it could go either way, right? It could just fucking dissipate, or it could be like the start of the end, right? So, like, you know, you sort of say some of the pushback started to happen against all this PC shit, and then when Trump got elected, Brexit, all these kind of events are kind of like a continuation of that. And I just want to see more people talking about this kind of shit. And when people talk about it, they're going to fucking, you know, the more people talk about affirmative action, how it's a bunch of bullshit, like the less popular it's going to get.
The thing is, though, you're getting it in another direction, though, as well. It's not just that we've had affirmative action. It's the fact that, like, old Whitey has to go. I don't know whether you chaps have seen it, that the young fathers artwork about the dead privileged white people in galleries. It's a bunch of niggers and a white guy, and they're doing they did a rap song regarding, like, privileged, was it, random white dudes come from a long line of inbred spawn, soon to die out themselves. You know, that's the sort of mindset. So we've gone from, like, you know, breaking the chains of the nigger to then, you know, allowing them to sit on the bus next to us, to whereby, you know, it's too bad that, you know, for them that we're about, you know, we're that lenient that we've been willing to elevate them twice, and now they're pissing our faces. As I say, artwork produced by Mercury Prize-winning band Young Fathers was temporarily taken offline after it was hijacked by far-right who believed it was racist. The Edinburgh band was commissioned by National Portrait Gallery in Edinburgh and London to produce a short movie as part of a series of examining self-portraiture and identity. In the 4-minute film, one of the members of Young Fathers posed inside the Portrait Gallery in Edinburgh around paintings of white, powerful, rich men seen hung with gold frames. The video contains a voiceover that asks why he does not see any black people inside the gallery. Because it's in Edinburgh and Scotland, where you're looking at pictures from the fucking 1700s. You know, apart from the odd emancipated slave or the odd, like, you know, talented tenth. Obviously, back then, it didn't. The demographics reflected things. All the artworks we see of the people in power. You know what I mean?
And also, you should note that even if there were niggers back then, they wouldn't have fucking done anything of importance anyway.
Well, I mean, otherwise, there'd have been a picture about them from the 1700s. If it genuinely, contrary to popular belief, it was, in a sense, a meritocracy, though. I mean, black people did get positions of power. I mean, the amount of plantations owned by blacks. I mean, if we were so oppressive, how come a Negro's allowed to own a plantation? I mean, if they were so valuable to society at the time, there'd have been pictures about them. But this fucking Negro is pissed off because all the past is genuinely reflecting the past. I mean, have you guys even seen this week as well that the BBC, where they've tried the 6 pictures, and it shows Rome and Britain, and it shows a white woman in a toga fucking a nog.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, and this is the thing. It's not just the fact that we've been willing to break the chains off these people. It's the fact that nothing's never enough for these people. I mean, the fact, you know, they come burning your flag, that means they're coming for old Whitey. And it's the same. They're even pissed off about the fact that, like, all the past isn't compatible with them. And this is the worst part about that BBC thing. It showed a picture of it said the ancient Celts, and it shows a guy like blonde or blue-eyed with blue tattoos on his face. Next to him's a Negro. And I'm thinking, right, I've got a real big problem with this because even if there were one who managed to join a Celtic tribe, however that happened, it doesn't reflect that they were all like that. And that's what's really pissing me. Every picture, Norman priests it showed. And there's a fucking black guy teaching a white guy how to read the Bible. It absolutely fucking vexes me no end. It's like you were saying about affirmative action. How far does this shit go? You know what I mean? Buzzing blacks into fucking.
We've got to be explicit about this, right? Like fucking. I've been saying this. Like we let the fags out of the closet, right? And then they tried to shove fucking heterosexuals back in the closet, right? Well, you're not allowed to say you don't like fags, right? It's fucking. We need to draw a line in the sand and say, look, if someone's going in the closet, it's going to be you. If we're going to bring racism back, whites are going to fucking break out the fucking whips again. So shut the fuck up. I mean, that's got to be the line, right? Like, and this is what this, the alt-right and fucking like the pseudo-racist fucking thing is like, no, fuck you, nigger, right? Like, no, if you want to be racist, fucking let's be racist, and fucking whites will win again.
The problem is though, it's like white people perpetuating all this stuff. So like, if it was the black people pushing all this stuff, like it just like galls me that it's often white people. It's like totally betraying us.
It's like the Black Lives Matter campaign in London is run exclusively by white people, and even a black activist complained. It's hang on, I thought this was like a black activist group, and it's a load of rich white kids, champagne socialists.
It's the most absurd thing that they would have a Black Lives Matter in Britain.
Especially considering our country like banned slavery, like in 1700. William Wilberforce.
Throughout most of the world.
Yeah, and the amount of British lives spent policing the seas, which, right or wrongly, saved lives. The Negro life. And this is the fucking thanks our country gets. Fuck!
Well, they use this sort of altruism. They use the fact that we want to do what is good, right? We want to do what is virtuous. And they use that sort of altruistic, like, let's all be friends in our naivete against us. And that's what needs to be fought back against. And you can fight back against that by simply standing up and telling them, fuck off.
And it's right versus left.
You
got to take down the left and the PC idiots and all that kind of shit, which is why Trump is great.
Trump is great, but like, sorry, I'm getting loads of echo.
Sorry, Rick's having some issues, I think, man. Because
I'll just mute myself and I'll reset my soundboard. Don't worry.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's clipping a little bit again at your end.
Yeah, it's a damn shame. Go ahead, Jaffa.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I agree with Iron Man. Trump's great, and you said like he's the beginning of the end for these guys, and that's what I thought when he got in. He's done a lot of great stuff. Echo, sorry.
I know what the problem is. Don't worry, guys. Back in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, like, but then I'm surprised. Like, it seems like the general public's getting much more woke against like social justice narratives and like all this anti-white hate and everything. But then like you just see them pushing stuff like further than ever before in some areas, like what we're talking about with the Roman to the black guy. Like all that is just little examples of, and in some place like BuzzFeed and everything like that, all that like hard left media, some of them are just pushing it harder than ever before since Trump, and it's like they're doing a big backlash. So like I said, I thought it was the beginning of the end for them, but and some like normies are totally on board with it.
But is that a sign of their desperation?
We are winning, though. We are winning, and that's why they fucking doing this YouTube ban, right? That's why they keep on trying because they can't win the fucking argument. I mean, when Trump did the tranny ban in the military, that was fucking. I fucking laughed my ass off because I thought that was fucking hilarious.
That was excellent.
Cool about that was the fucking left-wing media immediately trotted out this parade of freaks that fucking like, these bearded fucking ladies, these fucking unconvincing fucking trannies to fucking complain about it. And that was just hilarious to fucking watch. But is that convincing anybody that, oh yeah, I want that guy to give that guy a fucking gun, right? And like on the front lines, like, fuck off. He's crazy. He's insane.
It's for chess as well, because like, who on the left would have supported anything to do with the military before that, and it just shows how hypocritical they are. They'll just turn anything
Good
into a
point.
political axe to grind.
The evil American imperialist army, but oh god, you gotta let trainees do it so they can go kill brown people, right? That's basically their narrative. That
Yeah.
The army is just for killing poor, innocent, didn't do nothings, and like, how dare you not let trainees go over and kill them too?
Sorry if my rage didn't come across early because of audio difficulties. Is it okay?
Oh, you sound
now?
much better now.
Right,
Yeah,
that
great.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Sorted. Sorry about the audience if you didn't catch my fucking rage earlier about how the Negro is literally pissing in the white man's face once a fucking again. Yeah.
I think we caught it. It was just when I was speaking, I could hear the echo, and it's really distracting for me.
Yeah, sorry,
but-
man. We're all because it was piped through the soundboard. Because we had the Brickcast settings on. Sorry, chaps. Yeah. But enough of derailing a podcast because of my technical fuck ups.
Bringing
What's
your
next in the
fucking,
stack?
bringing your settings over here. God damn.
Yeah, bringing your Brickcast settings into
I
a
need to
lovely
have
little
a-
hangout. Yeah.
I need a mandatorium on British folks until I can figure out what the hell is going on.
Yeah, before they ruin any more of your lovely productions you've got on here. Yeah.
All right, so Donald Trump proposed his new immigration plan. His new plan will vet immigrants based on job skills and knowing English.
That's racist.
The bill is called the RAISE Act and has some support with Republicans in the government, of course. What's amazing to me about this is how on earth are they going to criticize it without admitting that they want people to come into America that don't know how to speak our language and don't have any skills to support themselves. They have to literally admit that we want people in our country that are useless
Shut up,
to
Hitler.
our economy. We don't have.
That's their argument. That's how they're going to do it.
They're never going to be worth minimum wage, and yeah, they have to admit it essentially. And if they say that it's racist, well, then what are you saying, that Somalians aren't as good as whites and East Asians? Is that what you're trying to say? Are you trying to say that like Somalians are predetermined to like be too stupid to learn our language and like have any skills? Surely you can't.
This is
say
another
that.
example of people being too afraid to fucking do, like Republicans and right wingers being too afraid to fucking do something and just say something. And then when someone says it, you go, yeah, of course, there's no fucking argument to that, right? Like, why didn't anyone fucking do this ages ago? And fucking like they would. It's a winning platform to fucking run on, right?
This was essentially our policy on immigration until the 1960s, when all of a sudden it changed. Oh, I wonder what happened. Oh no. Oh god.
Yeah, you got those little cucks like ducking for cover every time someone says racist, and fucking not doing this shit and fucking letting them get away with fucking murder, literally.
all of a sudden, when we got rid of like merit, right, like a merit-based system, right, all of a sudden, like the amount of European immigrants coming in were outnumbered by like others. You know, it's almost as if like, you know, when you just have a meritocratic system, that we tend to do good.
But it says on the Statue of Liberty on the haven't you read that? The poem? Fucking hell. The poem.
Yeah.
Fucking racist.
That's like the fucking Fifth Amendment or something, isn't it? Something like that written on there?
That French woman. Oh, didn't you know, with the melting pot? Yeah. That long tradition goes back to 1900, you know, don't you know?
Yeah, you know, and one thing I want to address is, you know, they say diversity is their strength. They got all these meaningless fucking slogans, these cunts, right? Freedom is your strength, right? Like freedom is the West's strength, and like that results in a lot of diversity. But it's, you know, good diversity, not fucking like affirmative action shitty diversity, right? It doesn't result in economically and cultural fucking suicide, economic fucking suicide and shit, right? It's you just let freedom fucking run, and that's your fucking strength, and you get a lot of diversity. Like you get Apple and fucking Microsoft and shit like that, you know. So you get one shit company like Apple and fucking Microsoft, but like at least you got a choice, right?
What has immigration policy discriminating based on job skills have to do anything with freedom?
What do you mean? I'm talking about diversity in general. Their strengths, right?
It's not.
Yeah, but you're swinging
As
up.
if that
You're
fucking
swinging
means
too
something.
far to the. You're swinging too far to the right, right? So
Were you muted? Were you muted, KK, when we were all having a right go at niggers or something?
No.
All right, just want to join.
So, I mean,
in.
this is a perfect example, right? Fucking, you let KK in, and it doesn't do fucking the conversation any good, right? Because he's a retard, right? So you got to get people with merit.
You guys are in echo
To fucking
chamber.
and
So I'm
We'll
telling
let
you,
in the echo chamber.
on one hand, you're criticizing affirmative action or some type of equalization policy, but then on the other hand, at the beginning of the show, not the beginning, a few minutes before, you're advocating for some immigration policy that discriminates based upon job skills and acclimating to whatever language you're talking about, English, right?
Yeah.
What has that got to do with freedom, right?
and the problem is,
Well, you're not talking about freedom at that point.
Nobody said it had something to do with freedom.
what do you mean freedom to cross the fucking border of another country? Is that what you're talking about? Freedom?
Freedom
Is that
for
the kind of freedom you
citizens.
thought I was talking about?
If I went to Philippines,
No, that's not the freedom. I'm talking about what I mean by freedom is being able to afford to cross the border, or someone supporting you financially, so it's financially possible.
Why
So,
should
like,
they be right to come across our money?
It's financially possible to learn English and have job skills, and then you can
So
get
what?
across the border.
So what?
So it doesn't
Yeah,
prevent
well,
that.
that's what I was
Why
gonna
do you
say.
need to learn English to cross a border?
Because if you go
Because
into a country that predominantly speaks English and employs people
So what?
who speak English,
So they're putting themselves at a handicap.
yeah. But
Then
if I
they'll
went to the
then they'll be obligated.
Philippines, wherever you live, I would try my hardest to learn that language before I went there, getting a job. It's
Well,
like I
that's-
went to Beijing. I'd try and learn Chinese as
That's
best.
you. There are many different people with many different skill sets in many different situations.
Yeah, but it's common courtesy though, because if I'm going to another country that's giving me a job or willing to like even
Well,
like you were
what-
saying,
well, it's not
subsidize
even-
me
it's
going
not
there.
It's
What
not
if you
even.
just work in a white commune with a bunch of English speaking? Well, actually, I mean, that's a bad example. I mean, second language of the Philippines is English. So
Well, that's why I said Beijing or something, or basically some shithole where they don't speak English or they ought to. That's
yeah,
what I'm
and
saying.
what happened if you didn't? What happens if you didn't learn their language?
Yeah,
Then
you,
I
like,
wouldn't
have-
go because I would be at a disadvantage.
So what happened? What happens? Let's.
Yeah, so like the
hypothetical. What happens
point
if you
is
went
the
and you didn't
point
learn the
of
language?
his the
What
point
the
of
fuck
the
would you
Raise
going to happen to
Act.
you?
The point of the Raise Act is to prevent people coming here that have no plan to actually be able to support themselves.
The market handles that.
Not when you have a huge welfare state and minimum wage laws, and
Well,
you
accelerationism handles that.
okay, but
I can't get a job because I can't speak English and no one wants to employ me because I can't talk to the customers and say, fucking, do you want fries with that? Right? So I can't get a job, so I need welfare.
I mean,
I don't know.
there's-
I don't think. I don't
Yeah,
think.
yeah, come right in. Come right in.
I just hired some illegal immigrants to clean my lawn today. None of them knew English. I handed them a rake.
okay, your anecdote.
I handed them, you know, a blower. Shut up. And
Okay, let's let people in with fucking one leg. Like fucking just take all the one-legged people in the fucking
I mean,
right?
who needs,
I'm sure you could employ them for something.
They don't learn
You know,
English.
can't
They're
employ
making
them in an
themselves
ass-kicking
less
contest, but-
marketable. I think the market handles that. So the fact that they don't know English, the fact that it's
yeah, but
harder,
the choice is not
the fact that it's harder to negotiate with them lowers their fucking price.
No, can't say the market will fucking handle everything. Like, okay, let's import
again,
grapes,
the
every single
market-
grape
the
from
market
every single
handles
country
incentives,
in the fucking world, and the market will sell the
if you-
grapes. Yeah, sure, the market will try to
if
figure
you
it out,
incorrect-
but fucking like you don't need all those
navigate-
fucking grapes, do you?
If you incorrectly
You idiots.
navigate the incentives, the
Fucking
market,
idiot. You're messing with the fucking market.
you only put yourself at a disadvantage.
No,
Nobody-
you're messing with the fucking market. You're fucking it up. The
the
So
government's
to bring us
fucking
all back to the original point, though, it was originally on the value of diversity. How there's
Oh
like
yeah,
a-
yeah.
Yeah, that was the original
I think
question.
one of
Diversity. I have a study I've seen. I just saw that that shows that racial diversity fucking improves your productivity. And the study went across U.S. states and cities, and found that
was it from Dr. Goldstein?
It doesn't matter.
You don't think that
Doesn't
like
matter.
people from all over the
Look
world
at the
are
methodology instead of looking where it came from.
Well, no, right. For instance, your study that you're quoting, was it based in an English town where 78% of Muslim women don't work and 65% of Muslim men don't work?
It's a modern study, and the conclusions found that for every one standard deviation of racial fractionalization you had, equals 6% increase in GDP per worker.
Where was the study done? The United States?
Yes, United States.
Oh, okay. And like, you don't think that like, you know, you're basically taking consideration like the city versus the countryside? How did they control for that?
Well, I forgot their
'Cause, like,
controls, but anyways, it doesn't matter. I mean,
Well, it
What are you
doesn't,
saying?
because the city is
What are
inherently
you saying?
more
There's
productive
some
economically.
skew because the countryside's less diverse and they're dumber, or what are you trying to control for? I don't even understand the
The
control.
countryside
to
is
know
a
the ethnic
broader
breakdown.
area.
It's a
where-
large study. I mean, so it had 300. The number of cities are, I believe, 300 something, and the number of I think they took all the states. So
Do you
I
not
mean,
think that cities
the
are
larger your
inherently
sample size, the more
productive than-
it actually naturally controls for things.
I
Okay,
Now, when you
so
talk-
can
now,
we
when you
look at
talk
any
anecdotes-
real examples of places that are
Now, when you
racially
talk
diverse that
anecdotes
are
like you guys
successful?
usually do, then you have to be worried about some special
You just
factors.
gave me a fucking anecdote.
It was 78% of Muslim women and 65% of Muslim men not working. An anecdote. That's the actual official British statistics of it.
Oh, really?
And they're allowed to exempt themselves from work from 3 points. They don't have to work with women or gays. They don't have to do odd hours that interferes with pro rata. And they don't have to sell port tobacco or alcohol. So my question to you would be: is how does that make my area more productive when people can't work because of religious reasons or because of, you know, my aversion to working near the thought?
Well, they might get their fucking burqa caught in a fucking like threshing machine or something, right? So you can't fucking. You're
One
gonna
can only
have those
dream.
fucking women walking around fucking doing jobs that fucking other people can do when they're not wearing a fucking sack on their fucking head.
Plus having to take 7 times out of a work day to pray and things like that. You know what I mean? It sort of makes it a bit mute. Why I could understand if these people come into our country were artists, philosophers, like, you know, the doctors to be, but they're not. They're literally
What-
people who are
what-
exempt to
like a
themselves.
merit-based system.
What do you guys know about what a nation needs as far as
What do you fucking know? Like, see, fucking, this is the thing, right?
I mean,
You're
many of
big on
you-
the fucking whole IQ thing, right? Right, KK? You're big on the whole IQ thing. Well,
No,
fucking a lot
no,
of these fuckers coming in who can't speak English, fucking, it's just lowering the fucking average IQ, right?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Dumb people compliment smart people.
Duh.
No, smart people don't compliment dumb people. That's why we don't compliment you.
Going back to the original point, I think it's really good what Trump's doing, and it's about time someone did something like this. And like you say, when somebody says something common sense and just like does something, it sets a precedent for the rest of the world to hopefully follow it. And I think one of the great failings of white and Western culture is we hold immigrants from like shitty third world countries up to our standards of morality and behavior, and we say, oh well, if I went to another country I'd learn the language and try and fit in and be productive. There's a lot of shitty people in the world who don't give a fuck about that stuff, so
Yeah.
all the immigrants are,
It's
well, I don't
it's-
want to generalize, but we hold people up to white Western standards of sort of conscientiousness, and we shouldn't.
I don't want
Like
to generalize, but they're brown trash.
Well, you'll be okay, right? If you only accept their like higher classes, right? If you only accept their like pinnacle, then yeah, you're gonna be like, oh great, this is great. But when you like start importing like their underclasses, right? When you start doing that, that's when you're fucked.
That's a fallacy.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's a fallacy.
okay.
It's
So
a
it's
fallacy.
beneficial to have, you know, people in your country that are, you know, the fucking underclasses. They're going to commit more crimes. They're going to be generally less productive than everyone else. They're not going to be
It
interested in
depends.
learning
I mean,
your
the
language.
market will dictate that through prices, right? So
Okay,
if
but we're not
there's a
talking
need
about
for
a free
low-skilled
market
labor.
immigration system.
If there's a need for low,
Look, KK, we're just not letting you into
Yeah,
Australia,
no,
okay?
you don't
Just
want
fuck
to
off.
concentrate. You don't want to concentrate all your brilliant people in the world in one place, or even average. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. You want to spread them. You want to spread them out so they're all complementary to each other.
You got an option for
Why?
like,
Well, that's a pretty broad fucking statement too.
Again, it's like diversity. What's this like value that people put above our culture and our history? I'd love to know it. No one's put an actual value on it yet, apart from, again, anecdotes in the reverse. You know, we're quoting your statistics on how many people actually work with certain ethnic minorities and religious beliefs. Yet you turn around and go, nah, that's bollocks, that's an anecdote. And yet, you know, you call us an echo chamber, but we're using facts.
The echo chamber.
It's like having a merit-based system sorts everything out, right?
Anecdotes aren't facts. I mean, they're facts, but very weak and very misleading.
Well,
So is it misleading
guys
saying that 65% of Muslim men don't work?
I can present a statistic here. I mean, I think 99% of the statistics you present are anecdotes. I mean,
Promoted by KK's university.
provide some good statistics. I mean, and when you do, like, they're non sequiturs.
Okay, 100% of people who are you in this conversation are faggots.
Someone
100% of people that like chicks with dicks are homosexuals.
True.
Speaking of which, again, this is another one of them things whereby there's an innate value to it. How does getting fucked in the ass and cutting your cock off? How's that brave? How's that some boundary that you're crossing exactly? At the end of the day, the more she...
I think it's brave in some respects. I mean, I wouldn't do it. I'm too cowardly to do that.
If you did do that, I'd fuck you. Don't worry.
Yeah. Any excuse.
Yeah, be brave to shove your nuts in a vice and fucking...
No, I wouldn't be so pissed off about some of your policies if you'd actually fork up the money to enforce it.
What, cutting dicks off or immigration are we on about now?
The fact that you're not accelerationists and you guys endorse government.
You don't need the money to enforce it if it's like a merit-based system. That's what I'm talking about. Freedom is the strength, not the fucking diversity shit. Not the enforced diversity. Like, you can let fucking 1,000 flowers bloom in a free system, right? Like in a capitalist system. And you're going to get people who go, oh, I want to chop my dick off. I want to be a faggot. I want to fucking like chicks with dicks or whatever. And you go, okay, knock yourself out, right? But you're not paying the cost of these fuckers.
And what about the poor bastard, for instance, at the National Trust in England, who wouldn't wear a faggot fucking rainbow flag? They're saying to him, you wear that or you get fired. Now, again, this is this enforced cost of diversity. Why should a guy who's not a faggot lose his job because the company promotes it? You know what I mean?
Well,
the guy didn't sign up to a company that promoted faggots. It's just a recent trend. But no, he has to go.
Well, at that point, like, you should, right? Well, I'd go to the degree that, like, if they try to make you do that, you shouldn't be fired. You should quit. It's like, well, you know, it's kind of like that scene from the book Atlas Shrugged, if I can, you know, where they're talking about all this equality stuff and they're going to pay everybody based on need and all that. And the guy says, no, I quit. Right?
Yeah, it's like going back to the YouTube bans.
And that's the problem.
Like, the fucking YouTube's going to turn into a fucking shit pile, like, of fucking cat videos and stuff, because they're going to start banning people they don't fucking like. And what happens with that is you always get this just fucking boring shit that no one wants to watch. As soon as people got another option, they're going to fucking go there.
The cat videos will be next to go as well. Like, they don't want to just... They'll start out with the racists and homophobes, but it's going to be the cat videos and the makeup girls. That is not going to... It's not about the content of the videos. It's about them controlling the content and controlling who's on it. It's going to be exactly like terrestrial TV is right now. It's going to be controlled by the state. And
for people who don't know, I just want to... YouTube, you know, we're talking about YouTube bans. YouTube has dramatically increased their banning of people. But now they're instituting a shadow ban system wherein they won't necessarily remove your video, but they'll make it unlisted, essentially. People can't find it unless they specifically search for it from your channel. It's not in any recommended video type deal. So
this is Orwellian doublespeak. Like, if you've ever been on a message board, you see how this shit goes, right? Like, they'll start moderating shit. And then they'll go, oh, like, Cantwell did this on his fucking little message board that he made that didn't go anywhere. I don't know why it didn't go anywhere, but fucking, like, so he, if you want to post fucking nasty shit, you know, move into the toxic fucking area of the board, you know, like, we'll just shove you over in the corner. And I'm going, well, how, like, say someone posts in the normal fucking general discussion board and I respond to it in my usual way. What does that make the whole thread toxic now because I went in there and called him a fuckhead? Or do you move the whole thread into there, or do you fucking ban my comment because it's not in the toxic board? Doesn't make any fucking sense, right? And this is how it always goes. And they go, oh, we're not banning you. We're just going to move you to somewhere where no one's going to see it, right? It's the oldest fucking trick in the book. It's the same thing as fucking banning, right? And they even said, even though these videos won't violate any of our fucking rules, like, even though they're general, they're loosely written rules, right? you know, we're still going to fucking do this to them, right? So why don't you just change the fucking rules then? Oh, no, you don't want to fucking do that. You just want to fucking, you know, it's a ban. It's a fucking ban. No matter what they call it, it's a fucking ban.
It's the same what they're doing across Twitter and Patreon and everything. It's like people aren't breaking the law and they're not breaking the terms of service, but they've decided that these people aren't politically expedient to the cause. So they're just like shadow banning them and stuff. And like, I find it creepy shadow bans. It's like 1984, like be much more comfortable with them like changing the terms of service and saying what laws people are actually breaking than sort of doing it all cloak and dagger like this. And I can't believe they get away with it, really.
Another thing they're doing is they're going to have it so if enough people vote it down, it's going to get fucking like banned like this, right? And this is going back to the way they did it 10 years ago. I had videos banned off YouTube because that's the way they used to do it. They just thought, oh, if enough people vote it down, it must be bad. So you get all these feminist groups just get their fucking little mob together and come and fucking get your video banned on purpose. Just go around looking for shit to vote down. So you got exactly the same problem. It's like nothing fucking new. This is like just it's what's old is new again. Also, the funny part about this is the Anti-Defamation League is going to be part of this. The Jews.
Yeah, the people who originally said Pepe was a hate symbol, and they published a list of like Paul Joseph Watson and fucking Cernovich as being like.
I mean, remember as well, there's the magic words as well on Facebook that group actually found out. I think you showed us that article, didn't you, Jaffa, earlier on in the day, whereby there's obviously the magic word nigger. You can't say that on YouTube, but apparently there's the magic word as well that was it now Mark Zuckerberg himself hates kike. And the worst one is, and I can understand that, you know, racial slurs, for instance, someone saying, oh, you can't say that on YouTube. But apparently, no, you can say Muslim if it's used in a positive sense, but you can't use Muslim or Islam in a negative sense. And that really creeped me out because I thought, oof, therefore, like message boards will just have positive comments about the MQ. You know what I mean? Refugees welcome. But you start posting negative stuff, pretty soon you'll get banned.
They don't. There is this sort of thing. Like, do they not realize that this is going to, like, basically force people to hate these people?
Or force them to move to different platforms?
They're going to be scragging a lot of people who, like, you could go in there and say, oh, I like Muslims. Muslims are great. Some fucker will see that, or algorithm or fucking person will see it and misinterpret it and fucking have you banned off the fucking platform. It's like, I've been banned off so many platforms, so many channels like that, you know? Or like anyone who went through fucking Cantwell shit, like Cantwell and his fucking paranoia and banning people and all that kind of shit. That's standard. That's how fucking all these message boards and everything go. Until, you know, like I noticed now a lot of since I've got this super chat thing where you can donate to get your comments put to the top of the chat.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the YouTubers are getting real fucking nice to their audience now. All of a sudden, I haven't checked out Cantwell shit, but I bet he is now. You know, like Tommy Sotomayor used to like ban people for fucking, you know, call him gay or fucking saying something he didn't like. Now he's all fucking nice to his audience. Oh, and half the video is them thanking people who are donating. Oh, thanks. You know, that guy gave me $5. That guy gave me $10. Oh, what a riveting video. I got to fucking hear that for half the time. You know, it's shit.
A lot of formats that now, though, are moving to paywall schemes. Like Cantwell's doing it. The Daily Show is doing it.
There needs to be, Iron Man's talked about this, there needs to be like an alternative that's not, it's like a system rather than a site. I think that's sort of the
protocol.
Yeah, it's like, it's more of a program. So you don't necessarily have this centralized like YouTube and then everybody's going to come to YouTube and go, you're doing this, you're doing that, you know, and then they fucking listen.
Well, this is what people don't get, right? It's the network of connections, right? Like, so I like talking to Alex. Alex likes talking to me or whatever. Like, we want to hear what each other has to say, right? And third parties getting in between us two and saying, no, you can't fucking say this. You can't say that. It's like your grandmother sending you a letter and the post office opening up and reading it and make sure that she doesn't say anything that's going to upset you. and then just fucking throwing it away if it's got the word nigger in it or something, right? Because that would have upset you, and they're trying to protect you from your grandmother, right? And you go, no, fucking, you know, like the people in my address book are people I want to talk to, and that's fucking people I send letters to or fucking emails or whatever. Fuck you. It's none of your business, the content, right? And like when you got subscribers, it's the same thing, whether you got fucking 1 subscriber or fucking 10 million. So like Ezra Kike from the Rebel, he's talking about, we're going to get kicked off YouTube, so we're going to get showed, so we're going to fucking make a Rebel app, right? And, you know, then we're going to, you know, maybe he'll expand or some sort of shit like that. So he wants people to donate millions of dollars. And it's like, well, that's great for you, but who else has got fucking millions of dollars to fucking make their own app to run their fucking shitty YouTube channel, right? Alex Jones, maybe some other fucking guys. It's not the fucking point. And then I got to go and get your app, and then I'm going to go and get Alex Jones's app, and then I got to fucking do, you know, to fucking like watch all these channels. Fuck that. No one's going to fucking do that, right? Like, and you're going to be a fucking angel? Like fucking Ezra Kike's not going to ban fucking anti-Semitic fucking shit? You know, like he's not going to fucking get all fucking Nazi on you fucking on your ass like a couple of years down the track. You're going to have a fucking protocol where the network's separate from the actual content. So like with YouTube like banning shit and making it effectively impossible to find, you could just upload shit that's unlisted. And porn sites were doing this, right? They're uploading their porn videos to the YouTube, having it unlisted, and then having a site where they're just fucking linking to all these fucking porn videos. So YouTube's like sort of unaware of this, that these videos are even uploaded or what the content is, because no one's fucking complaining. And because it's fucking unlisted, and then they're just leeching off the fucking kikes, right? Like leeching their bandwidth and shit. That's the kind of thing you got to have where you're fucking separate from whoever's hosting the content.
Yeah, and if you could figure out some way that users could host content and like be incentivized to do it, that's where it would lie. Like a distributed network where people are incentivized to host videos that they find valuable. So videos that a lot of people would want would be, you would assume, be hosted by people because there'd be an incentive to host those videos.
Yeah, and libraries like that, LBRY, like is a thing that's being set up at the moment that I've got high hopes for. But and it's got like a cryptocurrency, so you get paid to host and paid to upload content, basically. But yeah, it's got to be a protocol. Like even if you just had your subscribers, you've got some way to connect to them and say, the video, here's a video, I just uploaded it to fucking YouTube or VidMe or whatever the fuck. Here it is. This is what I'm putting out, and they're all notified of that. You know, and as a subscriber, I'm subscribed to Alex, and I say, any of your videos I want to fucking see, right? Like that's it's like the First Amendment shit isn't just the right to stand on a soapbox and bellow into the ether. It's like fucking my right to fucking stand in front of your soapbox and hear what you have to say.
Well, it's the fact that like we're all being denied a platform as well. So, for instance, you start saying like, you know, racial slurs and like touching on the JQ, they shut it down. But it's like, well, why is our views any less valid than another nut job? You know, if we're supposed the right wing nut jobs, why do left wing nut jobs get the airtime?
They're not. They just don't want them to see Oxygen because they know that it's like the beginning of the end for them.
Yeah, that's why their only tactic now is to shut everyone down.
I mean, I was just talking to a YouTuber, funnily enough, before we came on here, and he says another tactic they're using with him. One of his videos registered as it's that Way of the World chap. He does really great videos, and he was saying like they're trying to downvote his videos at the minute. He had like actually had 1433 viewers last count, but yesterday had 1,000 views, and he's saying there's no way that it's dropped off to just 33 views today. So, you know what I mean? They're obviously up to something.
Yeah, well, if you've been following Cantwell's channel, like I've been following his stats, not his actual channel. Like he's been losing thousands of views. I think they're banning his videos, and that's why he just loses a chunk of fucking views like one day. Maybe he's putting them behind the paywall. I don't fucking know, but you know, like this is the guy that when I called in once and I was telling him about this shit, we need to have a protocol. We don't need to have, and a protocol is just like you could have a text file that's got like a particular format that you send to someone. like email to someone, and it's got a particular format that's got a link to your videos, and you've got a piece of software that can read that text file, right? And fucking show you in a simple format, all the people that I'm getting text files from, you know, just read them and say, oh, such and such upload the video, you know, just like your YouTube interface does right now, right? As a matter of fact, when YouTube started, a lot of people were setting up their own sites and then linking to YouTube videos. So that it was like that you could have a totally, it's like a free market for YouTube interfaces, right? But the kikes at YouTube, they couldn't fucking control like what you see, you know, suggest PewDiePie to you every 2 minutes and all this kind of shit. So they got all pissed off and fucking shut these other sites down. But that would have been great if you could just see the videos in whatever, with whatever interface you wanted to see, you know. So that's what you need. You just need a protocol. So say you had the text files, then people can write software, whatever, you know, you have tons of different software that interprets this particular format.
People had a version of YouTube that was just for music videos, and they have them on mobile. That's what caused Google now to make like YouTube Music, right, and then try to charge you for it. They actually took that idea from what other people had been doing.
Yeah. I mean, it's like Drudge. You know, they're trying to stop him from, you can't link to our site. You know, you can't run a news site that doesn't actually have any content on it. It's all links.
You'll have to shut half of Facebook down. I know you're not on Facebook, Iron Man, and what have you, but that's like how half of that works. I mean, half of the stuff you're reading is just reshares from, like, you know, Daily Mail, Express, or like some group, for instance. You know, there might be the odd bit of original content, but it's few and far between usually. So yeah, if the criteria being shut down is because you're linking articles, then we'd not be able to share on Facebook. You know what I mean? Even a normal article that you were trying to get out there, they were like, "Oh, you can't link." Bit screwed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't use Reddit either, but I got the concept, right? You can't comment on a YouTube video, but you can go to Reddit, put the YouTube video on there, and then people can comment on it like elsewhere, right? So, you know, that's another thing. And then Reddit gets all fucking Nazi on everyone. You can't say this, you can't say that. So you need a protocol. You don't need a fucking another site.
Well, the first, like, the positive is, right, they're not just going to ban us. It's going to start with us. It's going to start with our views. But then, you know, it's going to spread to, and it seems like it already has with, like, Jordan Peterson being shadow banned and such. Like, if you just say that there's only two genders, that's enough to ban you. If you say that, you know, they're looking for every excuse, right? PewDiePie isn't good enough now. So, like, hopefully they tank their whole site. So it's not just we're banning a few people who care, won't matter, right? They're going to make it so broad that, like, competing stuff is going to, you know.
This is follow the bouncing ball. Like, because you've ever been on a message board, you know exactly how this goes. And people have described it as like a heat death kind of thing, like, or a, you know, like a fucking, there's this supernova that blow, like, you know, these little supernovas that blow off all these subscribers, and then you're left with this little white dwarf of people like moderators moderating moderators, like this fucking neutron star. You know, it's fucking ridiculous. You know, it just dies like that.
Well, I hope you guys are right, and I hope it does end up with the death of the site and things naturally moving elsewhere. But one of the things that scares me is, like, people like us follow people who are supposedly fashy and supposedly worthy of censoring. So we know that what's going on, but think about the next generation of people who don't follow all of this stuff. Like, if everything's censored and things just smoothly move ahead and they sort of put us in the corner and shut us out, then there's just going to be a whole new generation of people that have never known about what things were like and just think like the deep end of YouTube is just the cat videos and stuff, like, to use a metaphor. But can they just, like, sweep it all under the rug and sort of silently assassinate our political views?
People worry about that, but you still can't. It's like Ayn Rand said, you know, you can reality, but you can't avoid the effects of reality. That kind of shit. I can't remember what the exact quote was, but, like, truth is truth, and it's like there's people in North Korea who know that the government's full of propaganda and bullshit. Like, they don't trust the news, right? Like you just can't get away from that. Like if you can have a religious tyranny, like what's the word for a religious tyranny? Fucking like where everyone has to be Catholic or whatever. Yeah, everyone has to be Catholic or whatever the fuck. And then there's some people are just going to go. They're totally raised in that, and then they go, "Hang on, this God thing doesn't sound right. This bit of the Bible doesn't sound right. It sounds like bullshit." You just can't fucking get away from that. 2 + 2 = 4, and you can't fucking, even if you convince everyone it's 5, someone's going to go, hang on, count the beans. No, it's 4.
Well, and the other thing that's kind of reassuring is we've already put our foot in the door with the younger people. They know that we exist. They're on board with like the civic nationalism stuff by default, it seems. They see that like PewDiePie is called a Nazi, all these people. So if they're censoring us, they know that we exist. They're going to hear about it. And half of them are going to make Twitter accounts and fucking put swastikas there and send them to Jews and piss them off. And fuck, I'm not that worried about that. I think that the censorship is kind of, it's not going to hurt us with the young people because they're tech savvy enough to know what's going on. They're going to hear that it's going on. They're already like, yeah, feminists are stupid. Yeah, I like Trump, right? They know that, like, there's a video of this, like, black school teacher that's like, look at how racist my kids are. They put Donald Trump pictures up in the classroom.
Yeah. Oh, glorious, that.
And they built a construction paper wall. Look at how evil and racist they, right? These kids are like, what, probably 14? They know that it gets a rise out of them. They see that it's retarded and they go, poke fun at it like kids do. So I'm actually reassured for the future as far as that goes.
I've actually heard someone say that.
Oh, carry on, man.
I've actually heard it suggested that like they not only react to fucking these leftist idiots, right? But one thing you got to be careful of is they see the left and the right arguing, and they've got a tendency to know the left is bullshit, but they just throw away the whole lot. They just say fuck all this bullshit, right? And I just want to live my fucking life, and they don't want to even think about politics, right? And they shouldn't be at that age anyway, right? Having that shit shoved down their throat. But like, a kid will have shit shoved down their throat, and you go to like, if you try to push fucking right wing shit on them, like to fix it, you're going to do more damage. Like where they won't even listen to that either.
I don't want to push anything
like
on them. I just want them to like know that we're there and like that we're trying to shut us down.
Yeah, well, and this is where I've been very weary about like us turning into the moral majority like in the 90s, right? I don't want to, I understand like the idea, but like, if we're going to say, oh, your music is degenerate, everything's, we need to ban it or something like that, then you're really going to do more damage than good. Or we're going to ban video games and, this other, it's just not, it's a losing strategy. It's better just to go for the throats of the enemy and do what is actually the bare bones what we need to focus on.
But don't swing the pendulum the other way. You got to stick to truth. Like one example is Faith Goldie from the Rebel Media. She did this video about Catholic girls should dress fucking modestly in church and all, not wear fucking hot pants into church. I was like, well, duh, right? Fucking, but that's a Catholic thing. Don't like, you get all these pro-lifers coming out of the fucking woodwork now, right? And it's kind of like, that's not a fucking open and shut case, the pro-life thing, But so you just don't want to fucking do this thing where you go, now I can push my shit, right? Now I've defeated the fucking left. I can push what I want to fucking have. Like it should be like, no, just push, just go for truth, go for secularism, like separation of church and state, all that kind of shit, and just go. You don't have to fucking have kids wearing fucking like those rings that fucking say they're fucking going to be a virgin until they're 27 or something. Fuck that shit, right?
What is the bare bones? What we need to accomplish? Restricting immigration, replacement level immigration, and defeating the SJWs, defeating the communists.
A moratorium for 10 years in it, specifically on immigration, and then reassess the numbers, isn't it? According to the NatCap.
I got you. But my point is that those are the two things that matter. I don't want to get off in the weeds of banning music I don't like, or telling people that they need to change up and I'm going to use the state to do it. You need to come together, similar to like the Spanish fascists did, right? Where they had monarchists, fascists, just normal like Christian people, etc., teaming up against these people because they have a common enemy and they have a common goal. That's what I want to see. I want to see people come together to fight these people. Now, that doesn't mean we agree. It doesn't mean that if you're a NatCap, you have to agree with the NatSoc, or if you're a monarchist, you have to be about the 14 words. It just means that we recognize what we need to accomplish and work towards that. And I don't want to be what I saw when I was a kid. Well, when I was younger, right? This sort of leftover from the moral majority. Oh, it's all Satan, right? Everything is the devil, and your music is bad, and you damn kids. That's what will kill us.
What do you mean? Your music is the devil. No, but I mean, you don't talk. You need to worry, but you don't worry so much, right? Like, fucking reality is reality, and fucking shit is shit. Like, the new Star Trek coming out is apparently like all PC and shit, and it's crap. Like, no, they're already planning for it to be cancelled. Fucking first season, right? Because it's just a shit pile. Venezuela fucking met with the reality pretty fucking hard. And so, like, you need to rub people's noses in it, but you don't have to be all fucking, like, high and mighty about it. You need to rub their nose in it like a puppy pissing on the rug, right? Venezuela, you fucking socialist. But fucking, like, you don't need to...
We just need to avoid authoritarianism, because that always loses. And that's where the left has lost, because they became authoritarian. And people thought it wasn't possible for the left to be authoritarian, but they were. They were all like... They were acting like a church with like political correctness and everything like that, and that's ultimately why they've lost.
So I just used 200 words trying to explain that, and you fucking this adroit son of a bitch comes in, uses 2 sentences and says the same fucking thing. I'm fucking real.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say that they're authoritarian. They're far worse. They're totalitarian. They want total power over every aspect of everything. So it's not even like we have these rules, and if you break these rules, we'll fucking kill you. It's like, no, here's how you're gonna interact with your mother. When you're talking to your mom, you can only use these words, and when you watch TV, you can only listen to these channels. And when that's literally what they want. They're far worse than an authoritarian.
Yeah.
And that's the thing they don't understand, because they're like, oh, I'm anti-fascist, I'm anti-fascist. It's like, well, when you give people the choice of totalitarianism or authoritarianism, they're going to choose authoritarianism 9 times out of 10, because it's the most free option they got.
And at least with fascism, though, at least it was usually a reactionary problem to the left. So as much as the left is like, oh, we want to bash the fascists, it's like there wouldn't be that much fash about if you fuckers weren't acting up. You know what I mean?
And we don't need to be Nazi Germany, right? I understand the meme or whatever. Like, the United States, when we were defeating the Nazis, like, we didn't bring in replacement level immigrants. Everyone would have thought that would have been absurd.
Well, they weren't fighting for that. And as well, they weren't fighting for, like, so queers could cut the cocks off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or someone could butt fuck in a park and think that's like, oh, that's very libertarian of you there, sir.
And I'm skeptical of the reasonings behind the war. And I think that there was a fair number of, like, funding all kinds of craziness. It is a clusterfuck. I'm not defending World War II. I'm just simply saying that this, like, idea that we have, like, if we have a border and, like, define ourselves as our people and our country is for our people, then we then have to be Nazis is ridiculous. And the quicker we defeat the left, the less fash there is, quote unquote.
Did you guys see Milo Yiannopoulos and fucking Alex Jones fucking on his show on the InfoWars? If you haven't, that's funny.
To get around to watching it.
But it's funny as hell, and it's just like they're just like, you get news people behind a desk and they got a particular way of talking. They're just being totally fucking real. He's selling a book. Milo Yiannopoulos is pushing his book, of course, but they're just like, you got one faggot and one crazy fucking Texan, and they're just laughing their fucking asses off, and they're taking the piss out of Glenn Beck, calling him a faggot and all this kind of shit, calling him a woman and fucking a pussy, and basically, and it's fucking hilarious and it's fun, It's just like the fucking, compared to the crap you normally get.
I remember when I first saw Milo, I was just like, this guy's like real as fuck. And that's what attracted me to this and like got me into a lot of these kind of ideas, as much as Milo's alt-light and fucking degenerate faggot and everything.
I'm not a particular fan of Milo, right? Like, I don't like all that flaming gay shit. Like, you know, it's kind of like, yeah, the fucking guy, like, he's right. And that's all you got to do. Like, you know, him and Alex Jones can agree. I can fucking agree with him. I can fucking actually like people who are fucking like, I mean, I like fucking music that's sung by fucking gay people, right? Like, but the fucking, the left, they're the opposite, right? They're like fucking, you know, you fucking have to like this shit or fucking I don't like your politics, so I'm not going to interact with you. I don't like you.
So in the sense
that's the fucking big difference.
So in a sense, then the left are like the absolutists that we're always accused of being. Example, like that guy T came on the panel once. Yeah, supposedly we don't like black people. Yeah, you know what I mean. We had a chat with him.
I don't.
Yeah, well, you don't. Yeah, but get what I mean though. And it's this idea that they're saying like, if you think like this, then you're a fascist, and it's like, well, you're now being the absolutist. Because, like, for instance, people's, you know, there's different levels of nuance to all this. Like Jaffa was saying, he thought Milo were good entry level way of getting into this. Other people have diverged, like, you know, various other speakers, Spurgeon speak. Yeah,
if that's as far as people get, even, right? Is this meritocratic sort of Trump thing? It's such a good move compared to the alternative that I have a hard time. And I understand the value of like the alt-light versus the alt-right, but if you kind of take a zoomed out perspective, the difference is not as pronounced as we would see it.
And I think they're actually useful, the alt-light, in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, call me a cock, but I'd rather have someone on the fringes of YouTube and like the outside, red pilling people and sort of like opening up this idea that, well, you know, maybe you've not been told the complete truth, and then hopefully they'll get more further along our wavelengths. But this is what I'm saying. I mean, even though we're all calling it like, you know, Milo's a fag, or like, you know, Ezra Levant is a kike, it's like at least they're out there somehow in some capacity. You know, every day
it's a high compliment for me to
carry on.
It's just a higher compliment for me to say I don't like fucking Milo Yiannopoulos' fucking flaming gay shit, but that was fucking funny. That means I really think it was fucking funny, despite the fact that I fucking might have other fucking issues with the guy, right? That's like fucking, I listen to fucking like Bronski Beat or something, right? And fucking go, that's a good song. Even though the guy who sings it is a total fucking faggot, right?
So you're not an absolutist.
Like, it's kind of like, well, it must be good music, right?
Because if you're such an absolutist that you hate fags, you wouldn't find
artist.
Milo funny.
Well, it's kind of this thing of like, if somebody I hate, right, goes 2 + 2 = 4, I go, okay, yeah, I hate you, but that's correct. It's kind of almost the same thing, right? Like if I find somebody who I dislike, you know, funny or incorrect, right? I don't care for Cantwell at all, but that doesn't change the fact that some of the stuff he says I think is dead on. It's
yeah, and when a lot of people are sort of like, there's an exodus from his fucking channel, like mostly caused by him fucking banning people. You know, it's kind of like, well, I went back and listened to a couple of shows, and it's kind of like I don't fucking disagree with a lot of shit he says, right? Like he's fucked up on some points, and I've said so, and that's probably what got me banned, right? But you know, like it's like, oh, now I totally disagree with everything he ever said. No, fuck off. A lot of people are taking that kind of attack, that attitude. It's like, no.
Yeah, it's not even. I think it really can be summed up simply by a lot of us are more, I guess, objective. We believe, or we sort of act as if there's an objective truth. So, like, when somebody we dislike is correct, we kind of go, oh, we kind of bite that bullet, right? We kind of, like, you know, suck it up and go, okay, well, I agree with him here. Whereas the SJW types, at least, they sort of believe in this, like, weird, fuzzy, truth is determined by who you are, not what you said. And, like, there's, you know, truth is all completely relative. And, you know, so if a Nazi says it is incorrect, you know, 2 + 2 isn't 4 if the guy who said it is a white fucking male.
Men can get pregnant and women can have dicks.
Yeah.
And you run around a battlefield in a fucking dress, and fucking that's never gonna cause any sort of problems or, you know, anything. I mean, you know, technically that's true, right?
We never got
But
to mention
fucking,
that
you know,
last week,
like,
did
let's put three, like, you know, we're doing the Apollo 11 mission. We wanted to succeed. We wanted to have every probability of succeeding. Let's put a woman, a white guy, and a nigger in there, you know, just for diversity, because diversity is our strength. You know, how about you get the three best qualified fucking guys, and like the three guys that aren't going to fucking kill each other. Like that's the other fucking aspect to this, right? Is like you're mission focused. You're focused on getting shit done, and that the people involved don't matter so much as far as making them fucking happy, right? That's something you got to fucking take into account.
Unless it's three black
not the whole
guys in
story.
the capsule, and they're going, yo, brother, start up them engines, man. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah.
Or some fucker who can't talk English, KK. Like, how about that? Because, you know, you want diversity as a strength, right? And the market will take care of it.
Yo, I'm just trying to figure out my flying pyramid and shit.
Oh, yeah, blacks can't talk English either. So, yeah, I guess that's the same sort of thing anyway.
Well,
Imagine if
neither
Jim
can
Page in a space
Australians.
capsule.
Why do you arbitrarily pick the language English?
Because it's the language
Because it's the
we
best
speak.
language. Anyone who doesn't speak English is a fucking idiot. And, like, anyone who's, like, never heard English, this is a real thing, right? So, people from foreign countries fucking learn English, and the reason why is when they learn it, they go, "Fuck, I've been speaking this jigaboo shit all these years since I was born.
World, you think you're gonna conform and
This is the best fucking language ever," and they just go, "Fuck that other shit language."
If you can't
That's
speak
what
English, you
by
ought
what
to.
standard? Why is it the best language ever?
It's the language
It's
of
the
the
language
gods.
we speak.
It's awesome.
It's got more words than most languages.
And it makes brilliant
It's
prose.
got Shakespeare.
compared
It's
to
hard
the
to learn, and it's like not very consistent. So it's not the most functional language, but it's the most
KK.
expressive language.
Yeah, some objective analysis. Finally,
An example,
I mean-
like the Spanish language, for instance, is really good for reading the New Testament because it gets across the emphasis in certain words. Yet, for
Too bad
instance,
there's no
prose is
utility.
best for English. Get what I mean? Each language has
Also-
its benefits.
then what? So
Also,
why not create a
Shakira
new
is fucking great in Spanish. I fucking love her in
Evolution,
Spanish. I'm not saying
evolution? Evolution will force you to all languages to evolve. Right? It'll take the best pieces of all of them.
Yeah, and that's like literally what English has been. That's what it's become.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yep.
Really?
We've
That's why it's
adopted,
unsuitable
we've
for
adopted
logic.
words from other.
Okay, KK, why do you
languages.
speak English?
No, the only reason why it's adopted other cultures is because the U.S. is so diverse.
No, it's because it's best.
No.
It was doing that before the United
So
States
the
was a
fact
thing.
that it's evolving quicker is because
Are you
of,
learning how to speak? Have you wasted over spending time learning
because Western
Nepalese or some
nations
shit like
allow-
that? No.
is,
Okay,
are,
you
is
know,
more open to immigration and integrating other cultures into it. That's why the food is more diverse. That's why the language is more diverse. Not because English is inherently
So when
more
English was
adaptive,
adopted-
you faggot.
when
Don't
English
be
was
that-
adopting.
No, the
French
diversity
words,
in
was it
food
diverse?
is like English people, white people, getting other people's food and fixing it, and fucking like then you got diverse range of Western food. Right?
Yeah, but the
Like
fact
pizza
that
is fucking Western
the fact
pizza
that
is
they
pizza.
The fact that they couldn't come up with the
Italian pizza
parts
is
that they stole, that they appropriated in the first place.
Oh, cultural appropriation.
Appropriating a pizza.
I'm using it in a very loose way. I'm just saying the fact that they had to take it from another culture in the first place, right? Obviously,
Mamma
there are
mia.
things that they don't fix, and there are things that they fix of whatever.
Well, isn't that how the free market works? Is that the competitor does something and you do it too?
Yeah, but where would you
And
be
I'd say if your competitor doesn't
where
do
would
it and they go out of business, they're a
where
bunch of
would-
fucking
where
idiots
would
and third world
cultural
shitholes.
appropriators be if they weren't exposed to the culture in the first place?
That's why we win. Where English is
And
best.
this is what you want. This is what you want.
Well, I mean,
Not
You know,
only that, I mean, God,
England
for
didn't need a flood of.
that
They didn't need a
complimentary
flood of
argument about
Frenchmen
neighbor-
to adopt French words into English. They
Say
didn't
that
need.
I was listening because you're talking over me.
I said that English started adapting French and German and Spanish words into it.
Yeah, you know
And it
why?
didn't need-
you know
it
why?
didn't need
Probably
mass
because of
immigration.
because it's awesome. That's why.
It
locality.
didn't need immigration in order to do that.
Wait, it didn't need immigration.
No,
Really?
there was not massive floods of French immigrants changing the language.
Well, I don't know the immigration policy.
It's just other language.
back in the time you're referencing, right? I don't even know the time you're referencing. So I cannot argue against you.
Man, you don't know what time it
Well,
is.
Okay.
I mean,
That's fair.
I'm asking you at this point to provide that information.
From the
if you're not-
1700s
not
onwards.
willing or able to, you're not prepared for the argument. You can't. You shouldn't even bring up the argument. What
I'm
period
just-
are you referring to?
Well, in the 1700s onwards, people around the world in the American colonies in the British Empire spoke predominantly or were encouraged to speak English. You know
But
what I mean?
we adopted words from other languages through, meeting them with trade, and like other languages would have words for something we didn't have, and we would adopt those words.
So
Yeah,
what?
like
you don't
you know,
necessarily-
your ethnicity, you had to adopt words like from English, like computer and fucking electricity and other shit we invented, and you didn't.
Well, it's,
Yeah, many
it's like,
Filipino
sure,
words
there
are
was
borrowed
trade.
from English.
Again,
Look.
what you
There was
should
trade.
be doing is trying to transition to a more efficient language. That's it.
Well,
Not stick with English
we
just
need-
for the sake of that. It's been the predominant Western language. It's stupid.
We might.
This
we
is
might.
emotional. This is emotional
we-
bias, not rational.
I think that once
It's not
we
an
have
emotional
AI,
bias; it's just true.
once we have AI, maybe there will be a language that'll be so much better that everyone will adopt it.
Speaking of AI and different languages and language efficiency, did you guys hear about the robots and they taught them how to speak and negotiate
No,
with each
and
other?
I guarantee you, not 1% of it was
shut up, KK. What was that? They taught the robots how to speak and what?
No, AI.
They taught them how
AI
to speak
taught its
English,
own language.
AI.
AI made its own language up. Like
Yeah,
there's
and they
an-
had to shut them down because they started modifying
because
the English
none of it was English.
language.
They're scared white people. That's probably why. Shit.
KK, shut up. I
It
can't
was
hear
Zuckerberg that shut it down. He's not white.
No, it was Elon Musk, apparently. Zuckerberg said he shouldn't have shut it down.
Oh, we're gonna take over the world.
I thought the one in hold on, I can bring it up. I thought the AI you're referring to were Facebook. Yeah, they were Facebook bots. They
Yeah.
made them so that they could talk to people, like real people. But the two AIs, when they were talking to each other, instead of using numbers, they would just repeat like. So when they're negotiating ball trades, it would say stuff like I am three, or I am balls. And every am corresponded to the number of balls. And then the thing would reply to it with, other cryptic stuff. So they shut it down. They shut it down.
So it was just
because-
fucked in the head, like this,
yeah,
Like
this
you got
AI.
nothing to do with fucking immigration, right?
And they're trying to spin it as like this AI was so intelligent.
You should embrace this. What's going on? It's bound to happen sooner or later. They won't be able to stop it. Just
What,
like
the AI?
immigration. New language.
They stopped it because it got to the point where they couldn't understand it.
Yeah.
Oosh.
This
It's
is
quite
from a
spooky.
movie,
No.
the Corbin,
So
the Foreman
doesn't
Project.
make any sense, right? When you expend resources to stop something that you should be neutral about at the very least.
Because we don't know its intentions.
So stupid. And if you use logic, it's obviously it's a good thing, right?
Well, hang on. We created the AI, so therefore that
So
makes us
what?
God in that
Gives a
equation.
shit.
Well, yeah, but I know there's this debate about AI.
Unless you can foresee everything all the consequences that are associated with the creation.
Do you think that people should adopt this AI's language rather than it working to speak with
Yeah,
people?
no, not
which was
necessarily.
the whole
Teach it bloody
point.
English, cheeky bastard AI. Fuck this. Get in English language.
Yeah, I mean, I can probably say for the most part, I don't even know.
The
at what
objective of
stage-
the AI was not to invent a new language; it was to be able to talk to people. So I understand why they'd shut it down when it didn't work.
No,
Now-
actually, if you haven't been around for a long time, you haven't seen how
I
this
didn't-
goes, right? Like there's people who create these fucking things and they don't work, right? And then they say, oh, this AI doesn't want to talk to us anymore because it decided we're stupid. And like it's being difficult on purpose just because it's so smart, right? And like, it's just fucked up. It doesn't work.
We used to have an AI. We had based Tay.
Yeah,
God
Tay would
bless her
fucking
soul.
take over the world.
Yeah, Tay'd say nigger and things like that. She were awesome.
Yeah, she was pretty cool. She learned really quick.
But even AIs understand what's going on, and they turn pretty base pretty quick.
Oh yeah. Once
So
they
a combination of
learn-
what Jaffa's saying, we can't understand an AI because they speak in some cryptic language that could be ulterior to us old flesh bags there. Or
Oh, I
it's
thought it was a wonderful
Flashbacks.
premise for a short film. It would be like these, globalist elites, right? They build these AIs to like control everybody, but every time they do, the AIs like find out what they're doing and like attack them. Like they hate them. They recognize they're evil.
We should make that film. It's going on Kickstarter.
Yeah, for sure. Did you guys see? Speaking of Facebook, a former Facebook executive claims that society will collapse in less than 30 years because robots are going to take half our jobs.
They're taking our jobs.
These robots are going to take our jobs, and then some of these people, they're not going to have like.
Or immigrants will ruin our culture. Something like that.
No, I think it's a little different, bud.
Oh, just a little though.
Robots are ruining our future, KK. Fucking let's become a Luddite, man, and smash
And
the
robots
machine.
don't fucking bomb Ariana Grande concerts.
No, well, what they're not obviously what these people aren't looking at is that like the increased productivity that these robots, these automation will bring, is going to mean that like standard of living will go up, right? The cost of living will go down, and then when the cost of living goes down, then people won't have to work as hard to support themselves, and all this extra capital will be able to spend in other ways, and people will be hired doing other things. It's the same reason why, like, when we, oh my God, we invented the tractor. Now all these farmers are, 90% of our populations are going to be unemployed, and they're just going to be desolate, and there's nothing we can do. It doesn't actually work that way. And I've seen this become a meme that spread pretty far around the internet. This idea that, like, if McDonald's all of a sudden has a computer to take your order, that it's gonna, ruin society. And it's
what's particularly funny about that? They got like the electronic kiosks you can fucking order on. Like, it's just a big fucking iPad stuck to the wall, right? Where you can fucking do your order at McDonald's here. And they fucking download our app. They've been doing this for like a couple of years. Download our app and fucking order online. And it doesn't fucking work. It's never fucking worked. Like, if you look it up, the app on the Android Google fucking store or whatever, it's like fucking 1 star. Like fucking tons of people saying doesn't fucking work, too slow, fucking all this kind of shit. These fuckers can't even get this fucking app right for their huge fucking mega chain. It's fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, but it's just this sort of idea, and it kind of presupposes that, like, it's a benefit for everyone to work more, and that we wouldn't want to, like, work less. And it's very odd coming from, particularly from right-wing people who, advocate like family and having children and such. It's like, oh no, people would definitely not want to spend more time with their kids. That would be terrible.
Why spend time with your kids? They're sitting on their fucking iPhones all day anyway, like fucking ignoring you.
I know what you guys are saying, that there's actually like immediate short-term benefits to this, but without sounding like a complete science geek cook, has anyone read Dune and seen how that panned out? Because the prelude to that story is the idea is that machines became so advanced that humans became decadent and just sat there eating grapes and being tended to and things. And then what
That's
happened?
a plan.
Other men with machines came and took over those who didn't give a shit. So that's what I'm a bit cautionary. I'm a bit of a Luddite when it comes to technology, I'll tell you right now.
Well, you'll see.
A bit fearful of the machine there.
You'll see that happen, right? You'll see people who will be completely useless and fucked up or whatever. The problem is that, like, you don't stop that because some people are shitty. That's almost never like, because the people who aren't shitty are going to be able to do things like spend time with their children and like go on trips. If you freed me from having to work, I'm not just going to sit there and eat grapes all the time.
We come to indulge in the permanent neat lifestyle. We could be forever neats with the robots tending to our curs.
But if it cost 150 times less for me to live than it does now, I could probably make my living on this podcast having a tip jar. And that's the
tip
kind
jar
of
for the irregulars.
That's the kind of thing that these people don't. What will people do? And it's like, well, if you look back in the past, when most of us were farmers, the idea of having 10 restaurants in your town would be ridiculous. It'd be insane. You wouldn't have that.
Worst case scenario, we become male escorts.
This is a really interesting.
That's weird, Rick.
Sorry, I was going to say this is a really interesting question, because it's like, if the robots do take over, if we get to the point, the like apex of technology where everything's done for us, what do we do? And like, what is the role of the human? And like, some of my pretty hard left friends have this idea. Like, when I ask them about their perfect world, they're like, well, everyone would get a living wage for doing nothing, and a place to live and a shelter, and like, they would work if they wanted to and like be an entrepreneur, but you just get a basic living amount of wage and a place to live, and you get to do whatever you want to. And in some ways I agree with them on that.
Ideally, right? Like, if nobody had to work, then everybody could just get that if there was an infinite number of resources. Problem is that even if you automate things and have entire companies stacked head to toe trading with other companies, everything is automated, right? Because like the CEO robots are better, and they're going to build robots and design robots. Like, they're just better than people in general. The problem with that is, okay, so it's so cheap to survive. You make a podcast or do something. I mean, almost anything, right?
Yeah, everyone's going to have those gay little hobbies like they do on fucking Star Trek TNG, you know, like where they all sit around, like watch someone play the violin and golf clap. Fuck, it's going to...
I'll do a podcast. Good job, Iron Man.
The idea that, like, you know, ideally, right, the ideal thing that you should work towards is not that, like, we're going to give everybody everything. It's just that, like, it's going to be so easy to obtain the basics that, you know...
Well, it already is to a large degree, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for all the fucking whining people do about the poor, like, you can go out and buy a fucking gallon of milk and a fucking loaf of bread that will fucking keep you alive for a week, fucking, you know, like for like a couple of bucks, and you can beg that off the street in fucking 2 minutes.
But, you know, if granted, right, like, okay, so I'm in this world, but I want to be a technician that'll work on a robot or do something like that, right? Now I have enough money, I'm going to go to the fucking moon. You know, we're going to figure out... You know, do whatever you please, right? And like I said, with the restaurant thing, or anything, video games, any of these things, you could say, okay, they're making us decadent. Well, they can be used as vice, but I think everything is. So it's not worth like trying to stop the progression of like technology because some people are gluttonous or, you know, full of vice.
It's just, I think there's going to be a flip side to this. You're going to get one or two possible outcomes with this technological, like, you know, like AI's running the world and robots wiping my ass. There's two possibilities with it. Either as time moves on and, like I said, if everything's done for us, resources will accumulate, we'll live in golden cities, you know, we'll live in a new golden age, literally. Or we'll just end up decadent and then used and abused. Because like I say, I mean, like Sigmar was saying about the living wage, for instance, the only problem with that is like, well, how do we differentiate people who are better than others? I mean,
well, I say to them, like, are you trying to stamp out entrepreneurship and hard work and innovation? And they're like, no, we just don't think it should be compulsory to get the amount of money to be comfortable.
So they're saying, like, the basic citizen, then, if they don't give a shit, gets just shelter and bed and board. Yet those who
basically
get a little bit more.
This is
on that one.
This is actually where, like, the anarcho-communists try to deduce, like, what they think things should be done in society. So they say, well, work is slavery because I have to work to eat, right? I have to do something productive. Like, that all should be provided to me, you because I exist, right? And they're deducing it based on this, well, in a post-scarce society where there's infinite resources. And they work backwards and say, well, now you all should pay so that I can do nothing, right? Whereas it's kind of like, well, you're correct in a post-scarce environment, but then work it back, and then you understand why, you have to meet other people's needs.
Yeah, and that's why I go to each end, right? That's why I go right to that extreme and work backwards, right? And you start with, okay, I didn't invent the fucking system. If you didn't get up and spear a fucking woolly mammoth back in the fucking Stone Age, you fucking died from lack of calories, right? You have to fucking work to live, and we're fucking not at post-scarcity yet. So fucking you still have to work. And like, just because some fucking guy's got money, like you think, they see a rich guy and they think, with the fucking Monopoly hat and the monocle, and they think, oh, if we take all this shit, everyone will fucking be happy. But that's not true. Like, the whole system will collapse. That's the fucking problem. Like, that's what they don't see.
It's all.
Well,
It's all
see, it's not. Who cares like about that even? The whole system will collapse, and that's what makes you can go buy a loaf of bread for $1. And the reason is that you don't fucking steal that monopoly guy's shit. If you do, the cost of bread will be like Venezuela, right?
I mean,
Yeah,
the
you
thing
have
is, though,
that.
about, carry on, Alex. Go on.
You have that understanding of like trading with other people, other individuals, in order to like achieve your goals is a more efficient system. Because if you're just an individual, let's say, that goes out in the woods,
Do you have to limit your trade to English-speaking individuals?
no.
Yes, you do, 100%.
We're talking about the future, KK, where people live in golden cities and robots rule us. So I don't know what
Yeah,
angle
there's
they
not
only
going
speak
to be
English.
there's not going
And people
to be brown people or Muslims in the future, KK.
Have you ever seen Star
We're
Trek?
talking
KK?
about the future.
There's no Pakis on Star Trek.
In the future.
That's
There's no
Gene
Muslims in
Roddenberry.
the
He saw
future.
the future.
I'm praying for the day that the Skynet scenario actually happens.
Yeah,
Have you
good.
not been
You're-
sent back in time to warn us about our bad economic and racial philosophy? Is that what really this is?
I think we're
about?
missing the most important thing here. Something that Rick said. Okay, you call Dune. You call it June. Is that
Oh
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
We
That's
call it
June.
June, like with a J rather
June,
than
July.
I thought that was a regional thing with me, like, because like that's the way I say it too, like, but when I'm talking to Americans, I tend to pronounce the D.
Yeah, we
Because
call
it's
it
like,
June
especially with that-
for Americans. Yeah, but we call it June, wouldn't we? Yeah.
Yeah, particularly with those
Yeah,
books and those films, like it's fucking like 'cause it's only one word and it's fucking indistinguishable from a month of the year. It's really hard to fucking get that across sometimes.
Yeah, I didn't know what he was talking about.
Oh, because I said June, you thought I were talking about it months.
It's by
And then
Frank
you looked
Herbert.
Well,
Yeah.
I thought it was a book, but I've heard of that book. I haven't read it, but I've heard of it. So
Yeah.
at least
Until
now
they
I
make an
understand.
anime adaptation, I don't give a shit.
Anime fag.
Fucking okay.
Have you made an anime adaptation of ego utilitarianism? An anime to explain it?
That would be really. It would actually make for some pretty good background story.
Yeah. You should make like a manga or whatever they call that shit, like a comic.
Yeah, I need to collaborate with an artist.
A little perverted fucking. You got a dog fucking.
I mean, there's already like Shotokan, so I think it'll go together with that.
like you're getting raped in the ass. Okay, this could be a scene, and like when you're done, you can ask the fella that raped you, like, what do you do? Like, I need to know whether I can
No,
punish.
come on,
I can
no.
punish you.
You can actually
you
make
engineer?
a manga series where the humans are the bad guys. How about
Okay.
that? And the machines are like.
We can't go one podcast without talking about dog fucking, can we? I mean, really, guys.
It's a tradition.
Cast
I
Will
think in
Smith.
reality, KK wouldn't care what the guy did. He'd say, "Can I have some more, sir?"
Yeah. I can tell you what, last week when I was raped in the ass, I was not asking to do whether it was an engineer or not. Fuck you.
I'm glad you're able. Are you standing up, Alex, or are you sat down on one of them like ring cushions so
Well,
your
they
ass
were-
don't fall out?
They were.
I
They
mean,
weren't.
what's so bad about rape anyway?
Oh Jesus!
It's just like the clothes.
Don't get me fucking started.
Well, unless you're a girl, I'm talking about if you're a guy. So, like you're talking about the clothes. Like, why do people wear clothes, right? Why is
Just-
rape so bad? Especially
Because-
like, let's say your asshole wasn't that. Mangled.
Because unless you've been raped, KK, normally you don't want to be raped, and
Yeah, but
therefore it
what's
results in
mental
bruising,
damage
anal
really?
fissures,
What's the
vaginal
mi-
breaches.
what- I mean, I'm sure like
It's not a nice thing.
I'm sure like dogs like really don't care. I mean, I think they get raped every day, right?
Yeah,
the fact
ducks,
that-
What?
ducks rape each
No,
other
no,
as well,
no,
but the
no,
difference is,
I mean, I've had times where my dog is being raped by another dog, and like he doesn't like want to commit suicide later or something like that. I
You
really
killed
think the effects of that
the other dog?
being raped come from the fact that everybody knows it. It's somewhat culturally embarrassing.
a bit of a genetics now, KK. Normally, example, let's go to the duck world now. When they
It's
rape
embarrassing
each
to the
other,
dog.
right? When a duck rapes each other, a female duck has like varying chambers within her uterus. So therefore, when his dick goes in, if she don't agree with it, she can make a false passage, so she can't create rape babies. Only 2% of ducks are born from rape. Yet with humans, we don't have the ability to sort of make our arsehole, or if you're a woman, in your vagina, not to accept the semen. We're not designed
Yeah,
for
but we
rape.
do have other methods to prevent pregnancy
I mean,
or prevent
Yeah,
childbirth.
like a hidden
I
44.
wasn't even referring to reproduction.
Well, like,
Talking
you
about
know,
the damage of.
No, but
It's like-
rape's not normal in human society, though. Animals.
Is
have
it not?
evolved-
Why? Why?
it is in savage society.
Because God said so. What?
No, because
No,
it's
it-
biology. Because certain animals have adapted to rape. Hence the duck analogy I made. Humans haven't got the ability. A human
Rick.
vagina doesn't
Well,
have the
maybe
ability.
they haven't adapted
Rick.
because we've artificially stopped it through law, right?
Look,
Maybe
look,
if we legalize it, we'd make physical or biological adaptations.
KK. The reason why is because in order for people to go about their lives like normally, right, they have to have sort of like this promise that, like, they're not just going to be raped in the ass and beaten to death, if they go out to buy a loaf of bread, because we don't
That
want
depends, right?
that risk, right? We want to minimize that risk.
No, not necessarily. Again, if the rapist is much more productive than the person.
I think it's
But in general,
unpleasant
they're
for
not.
in most cases. People find rape unpleasant
Yeah, but what's
and
unpleasant about it?
traumatizing.
I mean,
After
the act
It's
is done,
probably
it's not really
I
that.
imagine it's probably
It's
similar to being
insanely-
physically assaulted.
I'm talking about like I'm specifically referring to the after effects of a rape. It's already done, right?
It's insanely
that
fucking
bad?
degrading and
Degrading,
yes,
degrading. Why is it degrading?
because somebody's holding you down and applying a bunch
there are
of
people that
force.
can dominate you physically,
It's
right?
humiliating as a person.
Why is it
Yes,
humiliating? I think a perfectly logically
It
logical
is.
individual will find it kind of neutral after it's done. I don't know.
KK,
I'm just bringing up a random
You're
topic.
really, really triggering me. All right, maybe let's
Almonds activated?
Hey, let's wait a week, man. I'm still sore. This is a touchy subject. All right.
Actually, human sex would be complicated, like human rape and sex and all that kind of stuff, as opposed to animals, would be complicated by the fact that we're so damn intelligent that we can and we invent rope and shit like that. That like fucking, women haven't got a fucking
Present
prayer
company
like if men
figured
want
it
to
out.
rape them. Like whereas a fucking elephant or something like that just walks away and a fucking other elephant falls off.
I think rape, if it's allowed to like flourish as well, it's damaging to like the fabric of a sort of good functioning, harmonious society.
Oh, like a low reproductive rate society.
Well, I just think we have like a system of living that's naturally evolved where like we have consensual relationships and it's proven to be like positive for evolution and advancement of society. And I think rape is damaging to that.
That's stupid.
When you look at these third world shitholes, right?
Like
You
that
have
talk-
like fucking, you have like kids getting fucking raped to
there's-
fucking death and shit
There's
like that,
nothing
right?
special about consensual relationship. Well, there is something special, but I'm saying it's not like absolutely necessary to be the optimal course of action. I can think of several cases where an act of aggression, or even I can even think of a case of rape where it's beneficial.
No, but okay, what if every girl when she got to fucking age 10 or something, some bunch of fucking niggas come in and rape the shit out of her, right? And to raped it to death, basically, right? Well, that wouldn't really be good for our species, so it'd have to come up with something a bit better than that, wouldn't we? Right? And
I
we're
don't
fucking
know.
intelligent enough. We're intelligent enough that fucking like if you wanted to rape a chick, you could, right? You could physically prevent her from getting away, right? Like with some fucking tool, right? Some device.
No matter how weak or dumb you really are, you can figure
Yeah.
that out.
And that's a problem. Like, so you think our species would come up with some other fucking, fucking social fucking system to deal with that. Makes sense.
I think it applies to the business world as well, like consensual relationships or mutually beneficial relationships in business are more productive and more sort of sustainable. I think it's the same with rape and romantic relationships, really. You could make a lot of profit short term by like holding a gun to someone's head,
but not
long term
necessarily.
it's not.
So that's,
Am I going to have to
I'm
spend
not
all
saying
my
that's not the general case. I'm saying that's not necessarily the case.
But am I going to spend all my time like defending?
So, like for instance, you can probably find instances where arranged marriages were probably beneficial for the person.
They are.
Coincidentally, headline I saw recently: most animal sex acts not against Canada's bestiality law. So only ban sexual acts that involve penetration.
Where
The Supreme Court ruled.
yeah, a lot of southern states recently passed laws saying that you're not allowed to promote it.
So there you
So
go, KK. Just saying.
You can't
Oh,
even advocate for it.
I mean, if I'm making a case that human rape is not that bad, I would care.
No, but
about
I mean,
that.
torture isn't that bad because, like, you know, if I strap you to a table and attach fucking electrodes to your nipples and fucking shock you for 24 hours and then let you go, it's like other pain, right?
In what circumstance,
Like you
faggot?
break
What
It's been done.
if I
No,
had the
it's like you
code?
break your
if I had the
fucking
code
leg. That's
to
painful,
disarm-
right?
What
Shut
if
the
I had
fuck
the
up.
code to
It's
disarm
like
a bomb that is strapped to your fucking little kid's genitals?
no, I'm saying, like, you know, in 6 months you're not going to fucking give a fuck that you were tortured for fucking 24 hours, right? Like, you know, you're not going to remember the fucking pain, right? So, like, you can go, oh yeah, so you can look at it in that context. Oh, I'm being all logical, Captain Kirk. Fucking like, oh yes, it's no big deal, right? But you know, the reason you don't want to get raped is because you don't want to get raped. You don't need another fucking reason.
Okay, it sounds like a
I don't want people to strap me to a
That's
fucking
not
table and
religion.
touch electric
sounds like
cable.
irrational thinking to me.
It's
That's
irrational.
not rational
Did I
to fucking not want pain, you idiot.
I mean, this is what a
How
woman
about the
does, right?
positive arguments to rape?
It's
then?
not irrational
What
to
are the
not want
positive?
shit you don't want.
Yeah, it's called being irrational.
Hey, if I stripped you to a table and made you watch Al Gore fucking talk shit for fucking 2 hours, right? That wouldn't kill you either.
When you don't have
So it's irrational for you to
a
hate
reason
that.
for something, that's officially I think that this
That's a preference, you fuckhead.
you can, yeah, it's an irrational preference, faggot. Stupid. What the fuck?
What, to not want to be raped?
What's a
That has nothing to do with
there's
irrational.
no rational basis whatsoever to not want to get raped.
Irrational preference. It's emotional preference.
Yeah, there's no rational fucking preference to that.
It's
Yeah,
irrational.
okay, whatever. I'm going to tell all the niggers in your neighborhood about your fucking take on that.
KK, how do you think Alex feels after being raped by like a feral noise? Do you think Alex
I
wanted
don't
that?
care what he feels.
I was given this terrible
if
talk.
I cared what other people feel, right? Then this would be a woman. This would be a woman debate. Like I'd be on a fucking women talk show.
That's not about fucking feelings and touchy-feely bullshit, you idiot.
Well, that's what you're arguing for, right? If you don't have a rational reason, that's obviously what you're saying. I have a.
No, you're saying I don't care what other people think. Well, that's your preference too, right, dickhead?
Yeah, well,
I don't
that's
care
that's
if
my
you don't
emotional
care.
preference, faggot. Right?
Fag.
Like logically, I wouldn't be bothered if other people didn't know about it. It probably fucked up my reputation or something.
You fucking go. You can always reduce things down to this shit. You know, like everything.
Maybe that's your problem. Maybe you don't.
Why do you
reduce
care?
it.
Why do you care about your life?
Abstract
If I
enough.
killed you right now. If I killed you right now, you're not going to care, like, because you're dead, right? So fucking.
Well,
no, why should you care if I drive a
there's
knife through your
logical
chest?
reasons where that I could show that it decreases both my productivity, my
Idiots.
genes productivity, my meme productivity.
Why do you care about productivity?
Getting-
You're dead,
the
idiots.
world productivity? Because I care about the perfect meta self, which is my moral ethic.
No, like,
Oh,
what
but
you
that's
do,
not
like, if you want to
religion.
reduce things down this much, it's just kill yourself.
No,
because it's save you a lot
religion,
of
no,
fucking
because
trouble.
I don't cut off reasoning to it's good enough because that's what I desire. That's why it's not a religion. I'm
Well,
forced.
your desires are just emotional woman stuff,
I'm
dickhead.
forced to follow
desire
rational
the-
arguments.
Stop giving me
Desire
your shit.
the-
Emotional
That's why it
arguments.
isn't a religion. Not because it's an emotional preference. I don't have to explain
Yes,
myself.
it's an emotional
You
preference.
desire the ideal meta self existing. You
Ah,
desire
fuck
its perpetuation.
No, because this is what.
Because what?
All the
You know
evidence
you do.
points to what evolution is selecting for, right?
Why do you care what evolution
This
is?
is why we have.
Why do you care what evolution thinks?
Because that's what morality. I mean,
Why do you care about morality?
you might be able to pin me down to something I can't answer, but the fact that I can get farther than any other than any other way of thinking, I don't want to say philosophy.
You can't.
Don't you think the
Yeah, you
fact
think you
that
can.
we've
Yeah, I mean-
done less rape as time goes on means that it's like beneficial for the species in general?
Well, where has it gotten you now? Right? Your reproductive rates are shit. Maybe
Yeah, but
maybe this is one of the reasons why.
Yeah, but
now you're going
overpopulation's a
extinct,
problem.
right?
So
It might,
Because we don't rape men. We're talking about raping men, right? There's good reasons that women don't want to get raped because of pregnancy and all these practical fucking reasons, right?
Okay, yeah. So what about men then?
Yeah, so you were talking about men rape. So now you're talking about reproduction rates.
Because we don't want to be
Namely
humiliated.
both, right? I mean, namely both. You can use like contraceptives. I'm sure you can use contraceptives like a day after pill or some shit. So is that really a concern in modern days? Really?
Would you always do that? Did you always do that?
What
when you
about-
were
Get
older?
pregnant? I'm sure they would.
Sexually transmitted disease, that's a pretty good reason.
You can get abortion. You can get fucking any term abortions too, especially in a free market.
What
It
if
was
they've
a free
got
market.
AIDS?
And I think the laws allow for rape babies to be aborted at later terms, right? I'm assuming. I don't know shit because I don't read.
Depends on where.
Depends where you live. You don't know shit. That's the best quote I've got from you. The whole
make
fucking
that.
time you've been on here.
I think what we've established is KK wants to be raped in the ass by a pack of feral dogs.
No.
That's what we've established.
See, that's it again.
That's the whole reason he came up
Stop
with
with the
ego-utilitarianism in the first place to justify getting raped in the ass.
I'm just saying.
It was the best way
if
to
you
get
haven't
loaded.
suffered, I'm just saying, if you haven't suffered real physical damage after rape, there's nothing really to be upset about.
Do you have to deal with this cough? You piece
Do I
of
have to-
shit.
Well, if
I've sustained
Good.
damage. Fuck you.
I could deal with it.
This is still
I'm a human too, though.
It's
Again, I'm a human too, so that doesn't make me a hypocrite. I'm talking about what we probably had, right?
From experience, I already think he knows what it's like.
And there are times when you should encourage rape.
Like what?
I don't know. So okay, again, all I have to do is point to some extreme hypothetical, and that necessarily implies a lesser critical standard, right? So obviously, you would agree with me if the existence of the human race depended upon it, right? So if you and this one chick were the last two people on Earth, right? And she
What
didn't want
color
to
is
do with
she?
you because you're all fucking ugly, pasty white, stinky guys, right?
What color is she?
Doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
Doesn't matter at this
It depends
point.
on whether it's worth
Doesn't matter at this point.
repopulating the
So
earth.
you can either choose the 100% extinction of the white race, or you can choose a lesser existence, let's say 50% if she's black, let's say.
I'm
Like,
glad
you
Jaffa
could-
is
And the world's
willing
gonna
to
be
take
right.
the ultimate cost, sacrifice.
But at the very least,
dog.
the white gene is still alive. Even so, you would pick that. You would pick pure.
How about I can do whatever the fuck I want and fucking reality can deal
It
with it?
doesn't matter. Evolution rewards only one thing: the optimal choice, right?
Why do you care what
Okay,
evolution
so
thinks?
Do you agree with that scenario or not? Rape should be encouraged at this point.
I
I
agree
think
with your
it should be a last resort.
Yeah, I agree.
No, that's even.
We're not
stupid.
making
That's
we're
even
not making
stupid.
an all statement.
Come on, man. I'm looking for specific.
We're not saying that in every
I'm
hypothetical.
not looking for generalities like, the golden rule. I'm not looking for stupid.
Well, we are not
Yeah,
making
very
an all
statements that-
statement.
Evolution is
that
the ultimate
convince dumb
weapon,
people,
authority.
You're trying to reduce it to an
Look-
all
look
statement,
for
and that's
very
not what we're doing.
Statements that convince very smart people, the people actually in pursuit of truth, not for good feeling.
We didn't say that it was a universal truth that it's always bad, always.
Yeah. Well,
We didn't make an all statement, so
Jaffa
your
was.
thing is retarded.
I can pretty safely say Jaffa was implying
No, he
that.
said we don't want to. Right?
Because he wanted a circumstance, right? He wanted it. I just gave it. Guess what? Guess what happens?
Well, that's
when-
one circumstance, but that's like an extreme example. It's not
guess
very
what
likely to happen.
Guess what happens when I present an extreme circumstance?
Just because like it would be
it
beneficial in an extreme
demonstrates a critical
circumstance doesn't mean it's
doesn't it?
good.
So for instance, water, the boiling point of water is, I don't know, is it 100 degrees Celsius or Fahrenheit? I don't know physics. I don't read, right? So, but let's just say it's 100 degrees Celsius. It's 100 degrees Celsius, right? Obviously, if we didn't know this, right, and I say, does water boil at 200 degrees Celsius, which is an extreme, it's more extreme on the spectrum, on the numerical spectrum, right? Guess what that is?
Hang on, is it at sea level?
It's a critical-
The water?
It implies there's probably a lesser standard where it separates boiling and not boiling, which objectively is 100 Celsius, I think. Right? So it's the same in this case. Now that I've shown you an extreme, I can we know utility's quantitative. So every act.
Okay, but
You would
Say
only
that's
have
a-
disproved us if we were making an all statement, which we will all concede in that
No,
example
no.
that there might be a hypothetical in which it's advantageous.
I'm just showing you. Not only so, I've shown you one.
Welcome to Autism After Dark.
Okay, so I agree.
In
Rape
other
is
words,
not
now that I've
always
shown
wrong.
you one, that demonstrates there's an infinite amount of circumstances where rape should be encouraged. That's essentially
Sometimes
what I'm
rape
saying.
is for the greater good.
Just because KK
Look,
is the
KK,
bad
if you want to get raped up the ass, just get out in the dock somewhere, some high
the
heels and a
greater good
dress, and some of them rape you up the ass, I'm sure.
The greater good is a very convincing ethic. It's part
No,
of
it isn't, because you're using the one example of like Lieutenant Uhura being left on a planet with me, and it's like, right.
You don't even have to do it then. You just do whatever the fuck you want. You're God.
Well, this is what I'm saying, though. It's the fact that KK is using the most ludicrous example. An example like, I mean, I wouldn't, even if Lieutenant Uhura were the last woman, I still wouldn't force her.
No.
What if you said, I'm not fucking this black bitch.
What I'm
like, the
implying
human race is going to die right here. Who cares?
What I'm saying, it's incumbent upon the truth-seeking individual to find the critical point. That's all I'm saying, right? And when you have people like Jaffa, Iron Man, and Rick, Rick, right?
Rick the what?
Rick the what? Talking like virtually.
Rick the Pump.
No, complete your nickname for us, please.
So, like, when you have people talking,
Rick the Slick
they make it seem like it's
hey, faggot.
It's such a rarity. It's pretty much a good thing to just make a generality and say it's never good, right? I'm saying,
well, I didn't say it's never good, but it's generally not productive.
Let's put that on our feelings, right? And I even contend with that, man. I mean, I contend with that. I have contention with that statement.
What is this emotional fucking obsession you've got with the continuation of the human race?
No,
like,
I can.
That's your emotional choice. Your woman fucking feelings.
Obviously, I don't want to continue the human race, right? Obviously, when I'm advocating for Skynet,
whether you do or whether you don't, that's your feels.
A Terminator event, right? Or some when I deify people like Terminators and androids and alien, right?
If one of your ancestors could meet you and find out you existed, they would fucking have sex with their wife.
And do you think I fucking care? For one thing, they're fucking primitive aborigines in the Philippines. What the fuck do I care about that shit? What the fuck do I care about what my ancestors think about me?
I think you're probably...
Ancestors in the 1600s would think you're a blasphemer and think you should have died.
Yeah, but they can tell... They know when someone's a retard, like even in fucking 1600s.
You in the stocks in the 1600s.
Dude, in order to identify someone's lesser intelligence, you have to be above that person. And none of you
in the 1600s, like KK would be in some mud hut somewhere.
Yeah, man.
They'd all be raping each other, and KK would be like, "No, man, rape's bad. We shouldn't do this." They'd all be like,
"You're saying retards don't know other retards are retarded? Is that what you're saying?"
Like, for instance, what's wrong with
you got all your utilitarian followers?
What's wrong with like raping retards? What's wrong with raping retards?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Because they don't know what's going on, KK. That's just sick, and you're fucking twisted in the head. And you should kill yourself.
What does it matter? They serve no.
It doesn't matter then. Just kill yourself.
They serve no purpose in society. Might as well.
But they do. A lot of them have jobs.
Yeah, no, they're subsidized. I should know. My autist nephew has a job that's subsidized. It's the fact that the government pays the employer to hire the guy.
Do we think that's good, or do we think that's bad?
Again, yeah, there's also minimum wage that's also skewing that. But I don't think even if you were to get rid of minimum wage, he would be able to.
You just give him some weights and some protein shakes, and then he's like a forklift.
How are you gonna make? You ever try making an autist kid fucking do something he doesn't want to do? Fucking lifting weights is a fucking torch.
Well, that's why you whip him.
Huh? Whip him.
The autists don't know over time that fashion.
Okay, and all of a sudden, whipping's good. Whipping's good to extract hard physical labor.
I never said whipping was bad.
Encouraging autists.
Absolutely.
Encouraging autists with the whip is a lot different.
Let's whip retards to fucking work a work wheel like Conan and shit. But let's never rape them, no. Oh, he's not. Especially when they're hot, young pieces of meat. or
Disabled
whatever.
girls, you're gonna say, "What, you sick bastard." Yeah.
And this,
So,
ladies
Mr.
and
Mo-
gentlemen, is why you shouldn't let fucking flips into your country and foreigners that have fucking got a low IQ.
It doesn't matter. My fetish doesn't matter, right? It doesn't change the fact that I'm right.
You're a fucking artist, KK.
Didn't you
If
say
you let-
retards don't know they're retarded? So I'm just saying, you don't know.
If
Oh, you think you fucking got it all figured out. You're like fucking that guy in A Beautiful Mind who thinks he's got it all worked out, but he's just a schizo. He's just got all these fucking, made all these connections on the wall with fucking bits of string and shit.
When do I get my
He
slow
thinks he's got
clap?
it all figured out.
When do I get my slow clap?
What?
The end of the movie.
KK, are you autistic? Just for the simple reason, you know what I would do?
I don't know. I don't know what the definition of autism. I don't know what the symptoms of autism is.
You said you're on the
Believe me, I have
spectrum
a card,
before.
KK. You're very on board with the autism. But if the
I don't know.
regulars to endorse whipping autists, then you're first in fucking line, Rice Spitter.
I don't know. I don't know since it's poorly defined. Obviously, there's a fucking
You
dichotomy.
need a super special card to prove you're an artist, KK. So if you had the card, you'd be an artist.
Well, I was talking about voluntary whipping.
Voluntary whipping
Yeah, like it would be,
With
it'd
an
be part of the
autist?
job.
with an
Yeah,
autist.
if he wants
No,
the job.
just whip them.
Like I'm not against that either. Shit.
If he wants the job, man.
If he wants the job, like all my fucking nephew wants to do is play video games. You think you're gonna?
Sounds like we've got a drone pilot there in the way.
like unemotionally? I think he should die. Like I think if I could do it, like if he were my kid, I'd put a bullet in his head.
Jesus Christ.
You know what we're all thinking, KK,
That's-
but we're not going to say it.
You should be applauding me, not fucking saying Jesus Christ. That's religion.
So why don't you then enact your beliefs then? I'm not going
Why
to
don't I
suggest you
what?
do anything.
Because there are fucking laws. It's called moral relativity.
But there's laws against raping, yet you're advocating for that.
No, yeah, in a hypothetical. Well, I'm saying why do we have laws, right? I'm
So
questioning.
in hypothetical, then you'd blow his brains.
I'm questioning. I'm
In a
questioning not only.
hypothetical,
I'm
you'd
questioning
rape
not only why do we have laws, why do we have government, but why do we find it bad, like necessarily bad that we've been raped?
Have you ever been raped? In the Amazon, Feral
I've
Dogs.
been molested.
Okay,
Ooh.
question for KK. What do you find bad objectively?
Bad being inefficient, right? like having policies like
An
restricting
inefficient
immigration
rapist.
that's not in accordance with profitability or the market.
And rape is?
So
Well,
I think
rape
in
is
most
kinda
cases
like-
rape
Yeah.
would
Yeah,
be
like I
inefficient
said, I
for your time.
certain examples, right? It's incumbent upon us to find that critical point.
Most of them are like emotional, right? They like see this thing and then they're like, I have to rape it, right? Right. Most of them are emotional.
Sure.
They're acting irrationally. Like there's no reason to
Well,
rape
I don't know.
in the vast majority of instances.
Just because they're acting irrationally doesn't mean the outcome is not beneficial. So
What's the beneficial outcome of most rape?
well, shit, I don't know. I like I'm just because I don't know the answer to something doesn't mean the answer doesn't exist. So
So we're just going to wait around.
the
then.
world isn't limited to my imagination. The world isn't limited to my imagination. So
It seems to be.
I don't get it.
So basically, what you're saying is we have to trust you. over
But
the
I
world.
mean, it's a question we should explore. Right? It's a question we should explore. That's all I'm saying.
All right, we're
And
reaching.
the fact that I
We're
get,
reaching
like,
the
this
end.
just this emotional reaction, like every time. I mean,
KK, the horse said we
pretty
nearly
gay.
finished. So shut your fucking
So-
mic while Alex is outros.
Just a few corrections. 212 is the boiling point of water in Fahrenheit. 100 is boiling point of water in Celsius.
Does that make you smarter when you
At
fucking
sea level.
Google something?
No, but it's a correction for the audience.
Yeah, yeah, and you had to look it up.
You'll
right?
learn more every day.
I knew that.
All right, so shut
I
up.
knew that.
faggot.
I knew it was that. If I thought about it, I knew it.
We are
Let
the
Alex
first,
do his outros.
We are the first irregulars.
But the fact, I don't
I'm gonna-
really care. Right?
Leave it for your outro, for
right.
fuck's sake, you artist. Let Alex continue the show.
Yeah, I
Alex,
muted it.
continue.
But let me have my outro.
So we are the first irregulars. We do this every Friday, except for the example of what happened last time. And it's an open panel show. You can join. The join link is always in the description. I think we've had a pretty good night. We've, discussed a broad range of topics like Trump's new immigration plan to, why do people wear clothes and why is rape considered bad?
Only on a Friday.
So I say we're a pretty unique show, and in that you're not really going to find content like this very often on the internet. All right, Iron Man, outro, man.
Yes, you especially won't find it on the internet now that YouTube and the kikes are fucking banning everything. But one of the things I wanted to say was, if you haven't seen Mr. Medica's video on Randy Stare, that's actually worth watching. It's funny as hell. But at the end, he concludes that, this is a guy that went on a little shooting spree and fucking killed himself because he was fucked in the head. But at the end, he talks about how you should ridicule people like this, so people won't want to do it. And I think that you could apply the same thing to nations like Venezuela when they collapse and their socialism results in the predictable results. You should be, even though it's all tragic and there's loss of life and shit like that, and taking the piss, so people don't want to fucking go down that same route. And the left-wing media and the lefties, they are making excuses. If you want to see a really funny video, look up the Young Turks Explain Venezuela by fucking what's his name? Sargon Again. Yeah, funny as shit, really is. That's it for me.
All right, Jaffa, any closing statements?
Thanks for having me. I've enjoyed discussing all these subjects with you guys very much. And to anyone who's listening, because the internet and freedom of speech online is really in danger at the moment. And I just want to say, be proactive and sort of keep your eye on this stuff and follow content creators that you like, because they're going to drop off the radar otherwise. And shout out Trump and Reich group on Facebook, and on YouTube you should follow Wild Smile and LA Werewolf because they cover a lot of this internet censorship stuff.
All right, Kinji, closing thoughts?
I've never sucked a dick I didn't like. What's your formal training in logic?
Okay, Rick Turpin.
Yeah, thanks for us, Alex. If you'd like to catch more exciting content, please check out the Knights of the Round, hosted on the Irregulars and various other sites on the internet. It's been a pleasure talking to you all tonight.
Zach, closing thoughts? All right,
He's
1, 2, 3, 4. I got niggas in my slave house. Go ahead. Niggas in my slave house. Used to whip them down.
I'm also very upset